Salk.
Well, good morning. No Brock, no Salk. That's okay. We're going to have more fun without him. Mike Lefko here with you. Lyle's here. Morris here. We had everyone coming in today. Brady Henderson will join me from 7 to 9. We got the usual Friday crew, right? We got G, Stacy, Shannon Drayer. We'll call her up and get the scene from Dallas at 7:30. Mariners begin a series against the Rangers this evening. So a lot coming up here on what's going to be a great Friday. Seahawks rookie minicamp. The Mariners keep winning. They have won 7 straight series. We'll break that down as well. But yeah, Shannon at 7:30, G at 8:30, and Stacy at 9:30. So everyone coming at the bottom of the hours as we get ready to set the scene for what's going to be a fun weekend. And guys, I have to say, we did this, like 2 weeks ago? And I was like, hey, this is fun. I haven't hosted with just the three of us. Brock's always here, chiming in, getting in the way. Haven't done this in a while. And I feel like Salk took that to mean, oh, okay, well, you know what? You can come in and host every Friday. So now I fear I'm going to wake up early every Friday with you guys the rest of the year. So how would you feel about that? Yeah. You're right. It's not that bad. That's not actually going to happen. They will be back. Salk will be back next Friday. Brock will be back on Monday as well. But I would actually kind of love it if this was a summer thing. Maybe we can kind of work that in. If this was a summer Friday situation where then I could go out and paddleboard. In the winter, no, I don't really need to do that. But in the summer, get me out of here early. We can all go paddleboarding together. It'd be a great time. No, I
sound like you're speaking silence. Mike Salk's language right here.
I don't think Salk would paddle. He's going to go out and golf, right? Every kind of Friday. So, Lyle, are you like Mora, where if you're going to go out in the water, it's got to be extremely warm? Because Mora has this set temperature where it's got to be 80 or higher before she gets out in the water.
At least 75.
At least 75.
You're like,
okay.
oh, it's 60 and
so
sunny.
Yesterday, did you go out there yesterday?
No.
Oh, okay. It's getting close.
I took my dog to Lincoln Park.
Okay, that's nice. There we go.
Yeah, more with Mora. It's
wow. All right.
60 degrees on the water is not warm.
It's what's it going to be today? It's going to be like mid-60s. I'll take a picture, send it to you guys later. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that way later, obviously, once this show's over. But we do have a lot to talk about, and it kind of all centers around the man who, he's not going to be Player of the Month because of what Aaron Judge did. But as we hit May, we're going to get a Player of the Month announcement. So maybe it happens today. This show sometimes gets some breaking news. We'll see what happens with MLB Player of the Month announcements. But Jorge Polanco has completely revitalized this Mariners team. And it's been incredibly impressive because obviously that signing in the offseason was not met with a lot of excitement. Dare I say there was some frustration and anger, a lot of confusion about why this was a move that was being made when no real other big free agent moves had been made. But now he's inserted himself as such a vital part of this Mariners lineup. John Morosi was on our station yesterday on with Wyman and Bob, and he kind of mentioned that it's that true number 3 hitter. That this is the guy that the Mariners thought they were getting in 2024. Someone who, when he was healthy with the Twins, when he was hitting at an all-star level, gives you that big bat to put around Julio and Cal Raleigh and kind of lengthen the lineup. And that seemed to be the issue last year, where you had Cal, you had Julio in his spurts and his kind of fits of carrying the team for a little bit, but more often than not being inconsistent. But there was just no one else. Once you got past those two, it always became, okay, who's helping this team out? Who's going to continue to pressure opposing pitchers, help put together an inning like we saw in the 7th yesterday or 2 days ago when they knocked Reed Detmers out of the game and just destroyed the Angels? None of that has been there. So for Jorge Polanco to do that, it's been incredibly impressive. It's been an unexpected boost, and it's something where I think you can really track this and say, sure, it's just a month into the season, but there are definitive markers of him being able to sustain this. And it was something, guys, that Mark DeRosa on MLB Network broke down, kind of the change in Jorge Polanco's stance and why he's been able to really put together a strong start to the season.
He was wide open in 2024, and Edgar Martinez talked about, and Kevin Seitzer, the hitting coach, talked about when you start wide open, if you're bringing it back, sometimes you're bringing it back in different places, right? You're not landing this foot in the same spot every time. So what they wanted to do was kind of clean it up. So he has gone more to the traditional stance and cleaned it up where this front foot is more parallel to his back foot, and he's landing in the same spot, and he's consistent with his move towards the plate. Something that's interesting to me.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. And I know Ryan Rowland-Smith talked about this when he was on with Bump and Stacy. I don't think it's something he was just able to do last year because of the knee injury. You hear what Mark DeRosa was saying,
Makes a
where
lot of sense.
if all of that weight and the weight distribution is then coming forward and driving onto that right knee, well, if that right knee's hurting, maybe subconsciously it's not coming through as fluid, or it's not going to, and Ryan mentioned it well, that, you're not going to like sit out. You're trying to help your team. So you're going to be in there. You're going to fight through it. But if it's not feeling fluid, perhaps subconsciously, it's just not coming to fruition like you think it will. So all of that, with Polanco being healthy, with that slight adjustment, seems like it's really clicked. And for me, I don't know how you guys feel, he has been the biggest unexpected boost to this team. I don't know if there's anyone else that jumps out in the lineup right now, maybe a pitcher or something, but it just feels like Jorge Polanco, biggest unexpected surprise so far this season.
Well, when he was signed back, it was to a, I think, fairly underwhelming response here, right? Because unless you watched him in Minnesota, I think people saw last year and thought, why would we want Jorge Polanco back? And I mean, we knew he was injured, but it was hard to believe that he could come back with this kind of. I mean, he has better numbers than Aaron Judge right now.
Well, Aaron Judge has had a just ridiculous month, but yes, very comparable. And I think Judge has qualifying numbers that will probably win him Player of the Month. No East Coast bias here. Maybe there is, but yeah, it's up there. Okay, but if you're being compared to Aaron Judge, sure, then something has really gone right. And so you're right, more to say that, hey, he is up there with Aaron Judge, incredibly impressive. So, well, I don't know. Anyone else that has jumped out is like, hey, this has maybe been more unexpected or more of a positive impact so far this year.
I don't know if there's been anybody more unexpected in baseball. I'll take a step further.
True.
Not that Jorge Polanco hasn't been really good in his career, because he has, but to do what he's done in the first month of the year, coming off the injury from last year, yeah, I don't know if anybody really expected this. Honestly, to be transparent, like, I was probably one of the few people that was on board with bringing Polanco back, just because I thought there was some bounce back due. And I said there's no way at 31 years old that a guy that's been an all-star in his career and has been as established a hitter as he's been just falls off a cliff like that. So I was perfectly fine taking the flyer and seeing a potential bounce back. But to see him essentially be second in AL MVP voting through a month, I don't think anybody expected that.
Yeah, and it's something that I don't think you can quantify about how an injury weighs on you mentally, because you can see the physical aspect of it, and Mark DeRosa just kind of outlined maybe why he's able to hit like he wasn't last year, but the physical grind also wears on you, and you know that. We heard about Logan Gilbert, so Cal Raleigh in his interview with Shannon, we'll talk about this a little bit more when she joins us at 7:30. Cal mentioned how tough it's been for Logan Gilbert right now, a guy who's never been injured, dealing with all these new unexpected situations where he can't pitch, he can't do anything. This is one of the hardest, most diligent workers on the team. So to be thrust into a situation like that, it's disconcerting. It's unsettling. And for Polanco, coming to a brand new place, he had spent his whole career in one place. He'd literally grown up in Minneapolis. That's jarring to begin with. And then to not be healthy, I'm sure it just took such a mental strain on him. So I think it's a huge boost. It's a big reason why they have been so diligent in keeping him off the field. And you know what? We kind of made the joke that, hey, just don't put him back at third. There's no need. Don't risk anything that could possibly go wrong with him being in the field, because he's so valuable right now, only kind of hitting part way, right? He's not even batting if you're throwing a left-handed pitcher out there. So I made the joke on Wednesday, hey, the best game plan is to just keep him on the bench. Just have lefties out there if you can do it.
Especially with the way things have been going injury-wise.
Yeah. So you need Jorge Polanco. The Mariners have done a good job of keeping him in as much as possible with what they can, because his side now is hurting, and that's been going on for a few weeks. So he doesn't bat right-handed right now. But to have a valuable switch hitter like this, it's been huge, and it's been a big boost for this Mariners team that, yeah, as Maura mentioned, we'll talk about that throughout the show. They're kind of reeling. They are dealing with some lineup attrition, so we will get into that and talk to Shannon about what this lineup might look like on this road trip. 3 games in Texas and then 3 in Sacramento. That's going to be weird. It's going to be a weird sight when they go play the A's for 3 beginning on Monday. We do have a lot to get to, including a lot that you need to know about Seahawks rookie minicamp that begins today. Their first practice this weekend for the rookies. We'll get to that and much more. This is the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Nikki Minwari's been compared to Cam Chancellor, but have you heard another one that you think may be a better fit?
He's a mix between Cam Chancellor and a Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is a bit better when it comes to covering, and Cam Chancellor was just that pit bull roaming the block, ready to bite anybody who goes across the middle of the field. He has a little bit of both in him.
4 Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Big Nation Station reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. A message from the entire team at Big Nation Station. We've got a complete stock of beverages, snacks, hot food, and more, and wish the class of 2025 a safe and successful future.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and save.
Dayandnight.net. Save up to $4,600 on qualifying cooling equipment. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night. Dayandnight.net.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement, but you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This hour is brought to you by Community Transit.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
The Seahawks are on the field for rookie minicamp this weekend. Starts with a practice today. The big story, though, the jersey numbers. So the rookies were all assigned jersey numbers, and as Nick Emanwari told Wyman and Bob on Monday, he had a process to try to figure out which jersey and which number he was going to wear.
It's been a little bit of discussion, but I'm still kind of like trying to figure that out. I know a lot of single-digit numbers are taken in Seattle. There's a couple free. There's a couple numbers in like the 20s. There's a number in the 30s. But still in discussion about that. So when I get up here Thursday, I'll figure out what number I'm probably going to rock. I got to, see it on my body. My body got to accept the number.
Love that. The body has to accept the number. Were there numbers like that for you guys? Just certain numbers that you didn't like? What were your what's your go-to number?
No,
what's the uniform
Salk
number?
Gets so far into this.
Deal. You don't
No, it's
care?
not.
You Maura, if you were just assigned a number, you wouldn't care?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I would have a big issue with it. I don't want some 73 on my body. My body would not accept that. Lyle, you going low? Going single digits?
I was 5 for a long time and then went to 15 in high school.
Okay. You seem like a single digit to low number guy. I think I am as well. 10. 10 was my number. I was attached to Jared Kelnick because of that for a while. But
I was going to say, do you have a reasoning behind 10?
10 is my birthday month, and I liked how it looked. So, yes. It fits. There's a reason. So there we go. 10. 10's the fit. So for Emanwari, turns out number 3 was the fit, which is kind of a big deal because this is the first actual number that we think will be worn in a game since Russell Wilson. I had to do some digging because Curtis pointed this out as the number was assigned that it hadn't been worn in a game. I was like, well, wait a second. I thought someone had that number. So Artie Burns did get that number in 2023. Ultimately changed to number 23 before appearing in a game. So, yes, if Emanwari gets onto the field wearing 3, which we assume that he will be the first defensive player ever to wear number 3 for the Seahawks and the first one post-Russell Wilson. So, hey, number 3, a big deal. You'll see it on Nick Emanwari, the Seahawks' second-round pick. Their first-round pick, Gray Zabel, he's also wearing a familiar number, Steve Hutchinson's number 76.
Well, that was kind of the equipment staff's idea, and I had to ask Hutch if it was okay to wear it, and he was all for it and super excited for it. So, I mean, it's no better number to wear in Seattle history. So
it is pretty cool, especially for a guy that I know he was on the show a couple of days ago with you guys, talked about the impact he had in drafting Gray Zabel. So Steve Hutchinson and Gray Zabel linked there with the number 76. The only other single-digit number among this rookie class, Jalen Milroe, claimed number 6.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
The Mariners begin a 6-game road trip. 3 in Arlington against the Rangers begins at 5:05 tonight. Pre-game coverage right here on Seattle Sports at 4 o'clock. So Brian Wu gets the start. It's the site of his MLB debut, but also a place where he's had a lot of trouble in the past. He's had 3 prior starts there. He's given up at least 4 runs in all 3 of his starts. So it's going to be a big moment and a big test for the Mariners down there in Arlington against the Rangers tonight. On the other side, Texas is going with Jack Leiter. The Mariners saw him twice in September last year. They won both of those games. That included a 7-run output in Arlington last year. So we'll see if that offense continues what they did against the Angels and what this offense has done so far this season. from what they've done and for what this hot stretch has been like for the Mariners, the 18-12 mark, 7 straight series wins, it's been the offense that has really impressed John Morosi.
The offensive approach, I believe, has been better. And even if you improve your efficiency or effectiveness in 2 strike counts or by running the bases, going first to third more often by 5 to 10%, that's going to make a hugely meaningful impact on the standings. I think we're seeing that so far. And I think all things considered, think about all the years we've gone back and had conversations. This is about as good as I have felt about a Mariner team at the end of April that I can recall in the last several years.
Yeah, the offense has put up some big numbers. They did slip to 4th in home runs. Didn't play yesterday. The Cubs hit 3 to boost past them. So Mariners now 4th with still 45 home runs. They lead baseball in walks drawn with 144, and their on-base percentage, well, that's still really good as well. 3rd best in baseball, 339 as a team. So they are getting on base and making things happen. They are dealing with injury attrition, though. So Ryland Thomas was called up on Wednesday. When he does appear in a game, he'll be the 39th different player the Mariners have used this season. Already 39 different players. They have used 38. He'll be the 39th. That would tie the Braves for the most in baseball. So dealing with the injuries to Dylan Moore, Luke Raley, Victor Robles, Ryan Bliss, all of that in the lineup, not to mention George Kirby and Logan Gilbert.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Angels are putting Mike Trout on the IL with a bone bruise. You might remember he left the game against the Mariners after the 3rd inning. That was on Wednesday. It was a big moment where he didn't come up. That's when everyone kind of noticed, okay, something's wrong here. Bases were loaded. It was not Mike Trout who came up. Turns out he has a bone bruise. He was put on the IL. The Angels, well, they continued to just go into a free fall. They had a 4-2 lead against the Tigers in the 8th inning last night. Gave up 8 runs in the final 2 innings to lose 10-4. It was Reed Detmers, the guy who had so much trouble against the Mariners. He gave up 4 runs in a third of an inning. Now, yeah, he's a lefty, but he hasn't really been good when he's been called upon in those situations for the Angels recently. So they fall 10-4 to the Tigers. Another pretty interesting baseball note, Bobby Witt Jr. extended his hit streak to 22 straight games. The go-ahead 2-run homer to help the Royals beat the Rays 8-2. Kansas City has won 9 of its last 10. Another thing you need to know, so recently fired Penguins coach Mike Sullivan. Anytime you get a coach fired and you need to hire a coach, he gets thrown out there as maybe a potential Kraken candidate. It sounds like he's going to be off the board. ESPN's reporting that he's close to being hired as the next coach of the Rangers. We'll get back to baseball, though, coming up. And someone that, I really wish this interview would have happened at the top of the hour because there is an open here on this show that has Mike Salk saying, Jay Buhner punched me in the kidney. So this didn't happen again because Buhner was not in person, but Jay Buhner was on with Salk and Brock yesterday. I don't think there was any kidney punching, but a lot of good information being discussed here. You'll hear that conversation coming up next. Brock and Salk here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively, and I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Pacific Power Batteries understands batteries for golfers, batteries for your car, your golf cart, and your bag's electric cart. We also sell good, used, 5-year-old E-Z-Go and Yamaha golf carts with a written satisfaction guarantee starting as low as $17.99. Located in Everett, Marysville, Mount Vernon, Bellingham, Monroe, and Wenatchee, you'll find our staff is well-trained in batteries and the latest charging technology. Pacific Power Batteries, with batteries for golfers.
The Mariners are giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, score seats for as little as $11 on select dates all season long. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners Value menu and beers available every game. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos for less than $5 and a great selection of brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park. Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Yeah, I said it can be a wild ride, but I do cherish it, Brock. And I would say to anybody listening, certainly anybody who grew up here as a Mariner fan, one of the cool parts of this job is getting to occasionally communicate with Jay Buhner, who is just as unique a human as you're ever going to find. And he is here with us now. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
What's up? Top of the morning, boys.
Sorry I missed you. Sorry I missed you last time. You had to go solo with Salk. I think I was working some college game or something. And how was that ride solo?
You're a busy man, but you know I love you.
I love you too. How was it with Salk solo? How did that go?
He doesn't remember.
That was pretty good. He wouldn't let me punch him in the ribs, big puss. But other than that, it was all good.
Yes,
it was all good. You know what? I'll get even eventually. I get him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sneak up on him.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be getting even.
I'll
You
buzz
already
around, he'll be
got
like
me.
roadkill.
Yeah, you already got me. Anyway, all right. Enough about you and me and our combative relationship.
Exactly.
How about these Mariners, Jay? They're 18-12. How?
Small ball, baby. Doing the little things. Get them over, get them in. Steal a bag. Even Big Cal's got 4 bags. You know, when you get guys on the base paths, you put pressure on the pitcher, and you know what? They've been getting some timely hitting. That's what's been missing. You know, those sneaky 1-run games are already starting to give Dan Wilson gray hair already. But last few have been pretty nice. That 7th inning lightning, baby. That was pretty special last night, and they're doing it from the bottom of the lineup. So it's good to see, and some of the big boys are going to have to step up because this is a mash unit, man. Good grief. Next man up, I guess, a little bit like the old days with Richie Amaral and Doug Strange and Alex Diaz back in the mid-'90s, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, let me ask you about that. I'm a little curious about it because clearly, yes, they've had all kinds of injuries and that next guy up mentality, they've pretty much had to. But when you're on a team and you start seeing guys around you drop like that, what does it do to your mentality and the remaining guys who are there? Because it sure feels as if this team has almost like taken those as challenges and then risen to meet those challenges.
Yes, so far so good. You're right. But, that's what you work so hard for. I mean, the amount of people that get a chance to sign professionally in Major League Baseball, let alone get a chance to play in the big league. So when you do get your opportunity, they've always said it, hey, man, take advantage of your opportunity. And a lot of these kids like Leo last night, just getting up and putting the ball in play, he knows his role. Listen to his interview. It's so refreshing for him to say, I know what my role is. My role is to put the ball in play, get on the base pass, wreak havoc to the pitcher, score some runs, carry the mail. And last night he did that exactly. So, that's the great thing. I think that's the great denominator is what Danny's bringing is that communication. All these guys know what their role is. He's got an open door policy. He makes sure every single guy knows what they're going to be doing, what their role is, if they're playing, if they're not playing. I'm not saying that other managers didn't do it, but Danny, you guys know, Danny's got a very unique way. Very calm presence about him and very knowledgeable of the organization and these young kids coming up. So he knows their strengths and weaknesses, and he's taking advantage of that and trying to put that in his best way to help that team win because inevitably that's what it's all about. Mariners got to win. So they're finding a way to do it. It's pretty awesome.
Jay, I had a teammate in college, and I remember looking in my locker room at times. I'm like, that guy is never going to coach. That guy hates football. It's just never going to happen. And sure enough, here he is 25 years later. He's coaching professionally. Like, I don't know how that happened. When you were in that clubhouse with Edgar Martinez and with Danny Wilson, did you think one day in 2025, I'm going to be on a morning radio show in Seattle. Dan Wilson's the manager. Edgar Martinez is the hitting guru. Did you foresee this as a possibility?
I didn't necessarily see them maybe together, but at some point, both of them are diehards. Both of them know the game in and out. Danny loves the game. Danny's a lifer. So is Gar. Gar sleeps and eats hitting to this day. The fact that the two of them are close together and pulling for one another, that's the fondness, and that is the close knit of the teams we have. We're all extremely close still to this day, and whenever somebody needs something, one of us is not afraid to reach out and say, hey, can you help me out? And I would say when Danny made that phone call to Gar, that was definitely stepping up and helping out. But it does not surprise me that either one of those two are doing what they're doing, just because they still love it. That's all they know. That's all they talk about. And they're both great family people, and they're able to juggle that. For some of us, it's just, golly, man, I don't know if I'd have the patience to do something like that, quite frankly.
Do you know Kevin Seitzer?
Seitzer's awesome. Yeah, he's a little pain in the ass when we played against him.
He's a really good player. It's so funny. Everyone my age,
no, man. I mean, he was a great player. He was a little rat. He played dirty. When I mean dirty, he got dirty. He always got on base. I mean, he was a hit machine. He could pick it. Yeah, he was a hell of a player.
That guy replaced George Brett. Like that has to be like, right? I mean, like that's what he made George Brett move from third to first. And it's funny, they are taking on, in some ways, almost more of that personality as hitters right now than even Edgar. As great as Edgar was, I don't mean that he's not a big part of this, but it almost feels a little Seitzer-ish.
Yeah, him and Mags both have stepped right in and done a hell of a job, and it's gotten back to a little bit of small ball, and it's the unwritten rules of baseball that somehow everybody wanted to go to lift and separate and uppercut, and striking out was okay. Bull crap, man! Put the ball in play and things can happen. So that's what they're all about. They're all about living hard in the middle, early in the count, hunt, always hunting fastball, hunt it. But when the count gets even and you get 2 strikes, let's try to stay hard in the middle and working the other way. And a lot of their BP preps and pregame stuff is going back to the old school unwritten rules of get them over, get them in, all that, trying to get that mentality. If you don't practice it, you lose it. So it's great to see, and these guys immediately in the clubhouse have picked up to them and are all on board on them, and it's showing with their approaches at the plate for sure.
Jay Buhner here with us. Did you feel like you could learn from Edgar when you were a player back
every
in the day? What that look like? Like, what did that really look like?
He was a silent leader. So you just watched his mannerism, watched the way he carried himself, watched the way he handled himself when he was going good or going bad, watching how hard he worked, watching what time he showed up and when he left the ballpark. Usually was the first to come and last to leave. Loved to talk baseball, loved to sit around, pull up the Diet Pepsi cooler and sit around and shoot the Chad and talk baseball. But really was basically our third hitting coach. But at that time, we only had one hitting coach, quite frankly, so he was our second hitting coach. And if you ever had a problem, you could go back to Gar, and Gar was great at seeing what was going on. And usually it was something that was small and simple, and he had a very unique way of being able to tell you just to slow it down, whether it be your hands not getting started on time or your foot not getting down in time, all those little things, which when you're struggling a little bit, and in our generation, we didn't have access to iPads and all the different things that are on the bench that are overkill. But, you had to have another set of eyes on that bench. And what better than Gar to have as your extra set of eyes to keep an eye on you and try to help you out.
Over the course of a season, Jay, when you were playing, how much of a season would you feel hot, like locked in? For how much of a season would you feel cold, like I can't find can't hit it? And for how much would you feel in between?
Funny question, if you didn't notice. I was a career 50 hitter, baby. So when Junior was raking all year from start to finish, I always say, hey, if you think it's easy, try going up there and hitting with my swing. It didn't happen very often, but I will tell you, I could get hot for about a week or so and fill up some damage in a heartbeat. But to toot my own horn a little bit, I had a different mindset when men were in scoring position. I did a pretty darn good job of getting guys in, and that was my bread and butter. And that was a lot of studying. That was a lot of knowing the pitcher. That was a lot of going up there and basically saying, okay, I'm all in on this particular pitch or this particular location, and living and dying by the sword. Because there was a lot of times I walked back with the bat underneath my arm and people were calling me a rally killer. But, there are a bunch of times too that I was trotting around the bases or got a big base hit to drive in a couple of big runs. And that's just part of the game. That's the grind when you play 162 and 185 days or whatever. So, it's the highs and lows, but, I tell you, nowadays, hitting 250 and hitting 30 to 40 a year and driving in over 100 pays a lot of money.
Well, it's fun. It just kind of, I guess part of the reason I'm asking is, like, I'm just looking at your numbers and I'm thinking about Jorge Polanco, a guy that last year could not hit water if he fell out of a boat. He was
hurt, though. His foundation, not to interrupt and step on your toes, but
right.
His foundation, it's all about your lower half. It's all about your knee, your rodius, man. When you don't have your legs up underneath you, it's hard as hell to hit, man. I mean, it is your balance. And when you're trying to get to that soft front side, and every time you get to that soft front side, if it's your front leg and it feels like someone's sticking a dagger in there, but you're a gamer and you know the team needs you and you want to play, and sometimes you shouldn't be out there when and sometimes you try to grind through it, and really and truly you're doing the team more harm than good, but that's just part of being a gamer and wanting to earn your paycheck. And then, or if it's your back leg and now you're trying to drive off of it, I mean, it's hard. Haven't been there. And knowing what he's going through, because both my knees have had roto-rooter year after year, and that is your core. It's a bitch. And now, even though he's a little banged up, he still was able to get in his legs. You saw what kind of shape he's in when he came into spring training. He was a man-child, man. I mean, he is ready to go, and he struck lightning in the bottle early, and now he's just continuing now that momentum, and he's just like full of knowing he's going to go up there and rate, quite frankly. I mean, he's got it. That's the thing. So I think that is the biggest thing with him, is that confidence level for him, for sure.
When you get in the booth this weekend with Goldie, do you feel like your goatee kind of offsets his hair?
Well, maybe he'll wear a pinstripe in his sport coat or something. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Yeah. The great thing about it is I'm the third man in the booth, which, quite frankly, I don't know about you guys, I love that. When I'm watching baseball on TV, I love hearing three-guy booth, three people up there, because they can all kind of feed off each other and everything, and definitely takes the pressure off me. Quite frankly, being the second man would be a lot. I was a little worried about that. But and then being able to go over with my boy Rizzer and start the first couple of innings on radio, like the old days, is a lot of fun. I enjoy doing that.
You got to talk to him. Rick, you talked about playing hurt, Jay, and what it's like when your team needs you and you got to go out and play hurt. I don't know if you've heard Rick the last week. This poor guy, his throat is hurt, and he is out there gritting through it every day.
Yep.
Well, he needs to wear a helmet up there, too.
Did you see that? Did you hear that audio?
Little Chuck and Doug. I saw it and I heard it. It was hilarious. He was almost spitting chiclets up there. So, yeah, I don't think he has to worry about that in Texas coming up. That booth is so far up there. Somebody get a ball up there would be quite the chore. But, yeah, he's a true professional. Rizzer, that's why I love him to death. The organization loves him to death. The fan base loves him to death. I mean, he's been there 30-plus something years, and he paints a pretty picture. That's for sure. So I'm excited to get up there with him and Aaron and Ryan and Ange and get in there and kind of have fun and still be able to go down in the clubhouse and rub elbows with the boys and see Danny and Gar and the boys, and so I'm blessed. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I think everybody's looking forward to hearing your voice and getting you back in that mix as well. Last thing for me, and sometimes the beauty of baseball that I've learned doing this for 16 years and watching it is sometimes like the simplest things can be the most profound. And you said earlier, kind of talking about this team and back to your era, where everybody is pulling for one another. And I think the casual fan says, well, that's obvious. But I think those that have been around clubhouses, those that have been around team sports, those like myself who've been covering a sport and got kids that play, you realize like that doesn't always happen. Parents aren't always pulling for the other kids on the team, like sadly, like in this day and age. And I would think,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So, do you feel do you feel that? Did you feel that in the spring watching from afar? And how can a fan, I guess, kind of evaluate and see that when guys are truly pulling for one another?
Well, where you get a true sense of it is when you hear the guys like Cal, for instance. He goes and signs his long-term deal, and who all was there? All his boys were there, all his battery mates, all the pitching staff was in there. And then when you hear guys talk, it's always team first. Guys are always there. When you go and they're doing stuff for Fan Fest, and they did the deal down in Arizona one week when I was down there, and they all got up and gave a Q&A and everything. And to listen to the way they all pulled for one another and absolutely cared for one another and had the highest praise for one another, that's when it starts to show. You know, and they've had that all along. They're very close. They get along great. They're bringing back a lot of the old school in that clubhouse, some of the things that the fans don't know, but I get an opportunity to kind of see firsthand, and this is one of the things I have no problem telling people about is, you know, they're bringing back the fun things like kangaroo court and things that, you know, for a lot of years were kind of skipped over and missed, and guys were the first, you know, got to the ballpark quick and got the heck out of there and were showered, and I'd come down and guys would already be gone 15 minutes after the game. You're seeing these guys kind of hang around and shoot the cud more and talk baseball more. And so it's pretty special. You're exactly right. I mean, sometimes some of the teams with the, you know, the superstars, the egos don't match up and they don't gel. And in this case, a lot of guys are counting on one another, and they're doing their homework, and these guys are stepping up, and the confidence is building. So it's really cool to see. But they got their hands full, man. They got a big test with Texas coming up. You know how potent they can be. Yep. And knock on wood, they're struggling offensively, and so hopefully our boys can continue to do what they do and just shut them down, because it's pretty special pitching staff, wouldn't you say?
Sure.
And
can
everybody's
be.
talked about if the offense can just step up a little bit. Well, this is kind of nice to see. I mean, can it last? Sure, why not? As long as they keep doing the little things they're doing right now and playing small ball, and the guys keep doing it, it's pretty special. I mean, it's really, really, I mean, those are really huge confidence wins for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
When they know that they are beat up and these guys are filling in and they're doing it with some of the guys, especially at the bottom of their lineup, man, how can you not build off of that and not feed off of that and get hyped about that? So me as a fan, I'm hyped. I'm super excited to see it happen. And hopefully there's nothing better than meaningful baseball come September, man.
Nothing better than that. That we know.
Absolutely.
Hey, I don't know. I'm going to take a guess. I don't know this, but I'm going to go ahead and guess, because I don't know your relationship with Cal Raleigh. I'm going to guess you're a big fan. I just based on everything we've gotten to know of Cal here in the last few years and all we know of you, I'm going to guess that you are a pretty big Cal Raleigh guy.
He's on speed dial, put it that way.
Yeah. What do you love about him? What is it? What is it about Cal that you connect with?
First off, he's a gamer. He's a catcher that catches every single game, does not want to get out of the lineup. He's a leader. He speaks with his bat. He's a switch hitter. He's a stud game caller, framer, throws people out. He walks the walk and talks the talk. I love his body language. You know, it's just he's a pretty special catcher, man. You don't see guys winning platinum, gold, driving 100 catching. I mean, there were a few back in my generation with Pudge and a few, but man, nothing like this kid. And he's not afraid to kick a guy in the butt, but he's also really good about patting a guy on the back. And he controls that pitching staff. He controls that clubhouse. Takes a lot of pressure off of Danny and the coaching staff to know that things get a little bit awry. Cal's not afraid to stick a foot in it and put a stop to it. But you know, he's a pretty quiet kid, but he sponges everything. He sees everything. So you just know day in and day out, you pencil him in, he's going to be right in the middle of that order, and somehow, some way, just a matter of time till he does some damage. So he doesn't get too high, get too low. You can't tell when he's going good or going bad. And, you know, that's pretty special. It's pretty hard to find. He's been doing that since day one.
All right, man.
We got to let you go. We got
to let your voice rest up. Well, we know how Rick's voice is, and we're trying to, you know, we don't need you and Rick both coughing at each other.
No, we were going to ask him, because last hour we had a guy named Brian Baldinger. You and Brian Baldinger.
Oh, yeah, you guys would like each other.
You'd love each other. Baldy was talking about spear fishing for hogfish and grouper and all that good stuff, and I said, "Huh?
Oh boy, heck yeah!
I wonder.
Sign me up for that.
I wonder if Buhner down there in Texas, the feral hog issue. You ever gone out just with a knife and hog hunt, like they drop you out of the helicopter with dogs?
Dude, it's fun. It's fun.
You've done that. You've gone out with a knife and fought a hog.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not going to get into details about a lot of things because you'll have callers calling in,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's all sorts of fun stuff to do down here in the great state of Texas, man. And bow fishing at night for alligator gar is right up there as a high point. Night fishing for bass. Doing a little culling on some rabbits or coyotes that are coming in on the back porch too close and taking away your barn cats. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun.
This is on my mind because I'm going to my college my 25th reunion this weekend. And when I was in college, there's this girl I liked and was having dinner with her one night. And she was talking about her ex-boyfriend. She's like, oh, well, yeah, he did this. And he went out and he killed a pig. And I was like, he was pig hunting? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, that's real tough. What, you walk up behind the pig with a gun and shoots a pig? And she's like, no, Mike, he was out with a knife fighting against a wild boar. And I was like, oh. Well,
they're known to do that in Texas and in Hawaii. Yeah, you get a
felt so bad.
Some dogs and you go, but they're also good eating. That's why they're doing it. They're doing it to eat them.
There we go.
That's right.
Jay,
we'll keep it clean. How's that?
See you, man. We appreciate it. Psyched to get a chance for everyone to hear you this weekend.
Fascinating conversation there at the end. Always going to be interesting with Jay Buhner.
We talked to Brian Baldinger about hog fishing season and free diving with Leonard Williams, and then we talked to Jay Buhner about catching hogs. So it was kind of like one of those wildlife shows yesterday.
And I think I can echo probably what Salk was thinking there. I'm out of my element when it comes to all of that. So I would not be on that Baldy Buhner fishing and hunting trip. So yeah, it's actually funny. Survivor, we reference Survivor sometimes in the show, especially when Stacy comes on. So she'll be on at 9:30. They were having a conversation a couple shows ago on Survivor about which animal you could sneak up on and attack. And now, that conversation has taken over the internet in a different form of man versus gorilla. But there was a conversation on Survivor about that, and people were deciding on a pig. Someone said hyena. And it was like, probably not a hyena. But that just came to mind after hearing Jay Buhner describe all of his hunting and fishing exploits. So fascinating there from Jay. Good insight, obviously, as well, into the state of the Mariners and what's been going on with the offense. And it is really fascinating to look at how this team has completely boosted themselves up in every key offensive category, especially when it comes to getting on base. The strikeouts are still towards the top of the league. They're not the worst, which they have been for the past couple of seasons. So you can deal with that when you have a team that's third in on-base percentage, fourth in home runs, leads the league in walks drawn, and is in the top 5 in stolen bases. I mean, I would take that. The stolen bases, I don't know. To me, that's the most remarkable thing. Just everyone's running. Literally everyone. Mitch Garver has 2 stolen bases this year. Cal Raleigh has 4, as you heard Jay Buhner say. And Shannon talked to Cal about that in the latest episode of the Cal Raleigh show that's up on our Seattle Sports YouTube page. She wants him to get 10. He's at 4.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I mean, he's on pace for 25 if you want to use pace.
What if Cal Raleigh puts up a 30-30 season? It'd be incredible.
Somebody would tell you somebody's going to have a 30-30 season on the Mariners at the start of the year, and it's not Julio.
Yeah, I would say a Rosarena. And then maybe 3 other guys. And then not even think about Cal Raleigh. I would say, well, do you mean like a 30 and then 3, like 3 stolen bases? But yeah, I mean, Cal Raleigh, it's funny. That stolen base kind of was a key part of the win on Wednesday because the Mariners, they got that 3rd run. And then when the Angels tied it, they weren't playing from behind. So you had a situation, the Angels maybe had to pitch it or play it a little differently. But Raleigh created that run himself in the 3rd inning. Got on base with an error, was going to take second, and then it was credited as a wild pitch. But then when he was stealing 3rd, he slides in, the ball bounces off his helmet, so he gets a run because of that stolen base. So that presence on the base pass, Dan Wilson talked about it after that game. It's been huge. It's been a pressuring force on these opposing pitchers that they have to worry about the Mariners and how they attack the bases. And it really, really has paid off in spades for this team to become one of the more consistent offenses in baseball. And it's wild that we're talking about the offense carrying the pitching staff. They kind of have these last couple of games. They certainly did in the Angels series where they really helped out Emerson Hancock get out of a few jams. He gave up 10 hits, just 3 runs, but it was the offense. They kind of paced the way. So been fascinating to watch with this Mariners team. We'll see what happens this evening. It's the start of a 6-game road trip 3 against the Rangers, 3 against the A's. 5:05 first pitch, 4 o'clock pregame. We're going to get back to a lot of Seahawks, though. Brady Henderson's going to pop in, join me for a couple hours here on Brock and Salk. We'll talk about his most intriguing pick of the draft, how he feels the Seahawks draft shook out overall, and what this actually means for the entirety of the Seahawks team going into the 2025 season. All that coming up next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively, and I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave, keep your house cool and safe.
Dayandnight.net.
Make sure your AC will keep you cool when the summer heat gets here. Save $50 on a pre-summer AC tune-up. When the heat's at 11, stay cool with Day and Night.
Dayandnight.net.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com. Evan Cohen here. La Quinta by Wyndham is deeply grateful for all our military members, veterans, and their families. They understand the dedication, sacrifice, and hard work that comes with serving our country. As a thank you, La Quinta offers 12% off standard rates, upgraded Wyndham Rewards, Gold Status membership, and preferred parking. They want to make sure your stay is as comfortable and rewarding as possible, and they're proud to serve those who serve. Tonight, La Quinta, tomorrow you shine. Visit LQ.com to learn more about these special military perks and discounts. Restrictions apply.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to accuse you of manager.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Seahawks rookie minicamp begins today, coming off that exciting draft weekend. So we figured, let's get Brady Henderson in here. Let's get Brady in for a couple hours. Mike Lefko, Brady Henderson with you here until 9 o'clock. I might just leave with you, Brady. It's going to be so nice today. I think I have to stay till 10. Day. It's a paddleboard day. Yeah. Paddleboard, golf, whatever your preferred outdoor activity is. So we'll have some fun later, but I think we'll have some fun now, right? There is a lot to talk about. It was a busy Seahawks draft, and, you know, a lot to talk about with the draft, a lot to talk about with this team when they get on the field. I think let's just start with a very general, overarching question. How do you feel coming out of that draft for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I was talking to a source last night about this, is I know what I don't know, and I don't pretend to be an expert on any of these draft picks the way that certainly these teams are, the way even some of the draft analysts are. Like, I have a limited understanding of how good these players are. With that as a preface, with that limited understanding, I think they did a really good job. And it's not just about the players that they picked, Lefko. I think it's about the whole process, the whole approach they took to this offseason. And I'm talking about the offensive line here. I remember, you shouldn't have a hard time remembering because it wasn't all that long ago, all of the hand-wringing about what are you going to do at guard? What are you going to do with the interior offensive line? Remember, they brought in a bunch of guys for visits, didn't end up signing any of them. Some of them didn't end up signing for a whole lot of money. And there was kind of this panic of like, what are they going to do with their offensive line? And I think that approach, that patient approach that they took reflected a couple things. One, those free agent guys outside of Will Fries, those free agent guys weren't all that good. And you would have had to overpay for those guys. I think it also reflected their belief that picking where they were and with the interior offensive linemen that were, going to be available at 18, or if they traded back a few spots, they felt like they were going to be able to get a guy that they really liked. And you heard John Schneider say yesterday during Gray Zabel's introductory press conference, there were 4 guys that they liked. So, they knew that, okay, and Zabel obviously was at the top of that list. They drafted him. He was the first of those guys to get drafted. But they knew that, okay, even if Zabel was gone, then you maybe trade back and you take Jonah Savaiinaea, the offensive lineman from Arizona. Or if he's not there, maybe you take Donovan Jackson. So I think that patience, paid off for them because, as it turns out, the number one guy, the number one interior offensive lineman that they liked was there for them right at 18.
Do you feel like they did enough draft-wise? I guess, does that go to what you were saying kind of about the internal confidence of not bringing in any free agents, maybe feeling strongly about the line compared to how the external perception of it was, that they know that these guys can grow and develop as players are bound to do sometimes? Because there was some consternation that Daniel Jeremiah was on with Brock and Salk a couple days ago, and he said, could have seen them taking Tate Radledge. He had Arroyo, I think, graded a little bit above him, but there was that long gap of, all right, well, they got one guy. Is that good? Are they set now? Because questions still around that right side of the line.
Yeah, and at center, I would say, too. Now, we did hear, probably wasn't a surprise that they didn't take a center because of what John Schneider told us at the league meetings, that, he felt like it was going to be hard to find an upgrade at center just because of, I guess, he meant because of the options available at that spot, and also, because they like Oluwatimi better than I think most people realize, and Jalen Sundell for that matter. I don't think Olu is locked into that job necessarily. It does sound like it's going to be a competition between those two guys, but I think it reflected more confidence in those guys than people realize. You've also heard John Schneider mention a few times that the coaches really like those guys. So this is not just about John Schneider's belief; it's also about the coaches feeling like, Oluwatimi compared to, let's say, what was the guys from Jared Wilson or some of the other centers who were available in free agency. It sounds like even the coaching staff really thinks, Olu's a better player than those guys. And so, and there's also a belief that the system is going to put those guys in a better position than the last one did. When, Ryan Grubb was, that was a drop back heavy offense. A lot of times it was out of shotgun, that's just not, that style of play is not really conducive to good offensive line play. So the belief is that, I think they are going to they're still going to have an open mind. Like if a really stud center becomes available as like a cap casualty, I think they could be all over that. But even if you don't end up finding any sort of upgrades from those other interior spots, I think there's a belief that the guys they do have are going to be in better position to play better football just because the scheme is going to put them in that position.
It's funny. We talk about the draft so much in a vacuum because it's all encompassing when it happens. It takes over the weeks and months leading up to it, and then it's just a fury on the weekend. But then you realize, okay, well, these guys are just one component of the larger team. So the Seahawks might have won the draft or gotten an A grade or had a very successful draft, but now they have to all fit in with these existing pieces. So we kind of look at this totality of the Seahawks with their team that exists and the draft picks coming onto it. What kind of shape do you think they're in when it comes to contending in the NFC, contending for a Super Bowl? Because that's the ultimate goal, right? As good of a draft as you can have. You need these guys to help your existing players. So when you look at the Seahawks, do you think, okay, they got significantly better, or this is going to be a draft where maybe in a couple years you'll see big dividends?
You look at just the players that they drafted, like the first 4 picks. You could see a role for all of them. Zabel, obviously.
You think, immediate impact?
Year. Yeah. It's not like, okay, let's say the Giants, for example. Yeah, they got Abdul Carter, who's going to come in and looks like he's going to be a stud edge player right away. But, they traded up for Jackson Dart, who's not going to play this year. Right. So, sometimes early picks are more, you make those more projecting kind of next year and the year after that. I think these guys that the Seahawks took, let's just go 1 to 4. Zabel is going to come in and start at left guard right away. Nick Emanwari, I don't know if he's going to actually overtake Kobe Bryant as the starting safety opposite Julian Love, but it sounds like he's going to have a pretty significant role right away as like the third safety, maybe some nickel. And just with the skill set, you figure that guy's got a very good chance at making an impact and making some impact plays right away. Elijah Arroyo, I continue to say that, with Noah Fant, with the cap number being what it is, $13.5 million almost, and the production not really being there, I do wonder if they ultimately are going to have a hard time justifying the cap number, especially if, Arroyo comes in and really looks like he's capable of taking that number 1 job. So, look, even if Noah Fant is still in the mix, Arroyo, with that size and speed and the route running, like he's going to fill a significant role right away, I would think. And then Jalen Milroe is obviously in a different category. He's their third quarterback, but I think there's going to be some packages for him where you give him the ball in a zone read situation or even on some designed runs, and you let him use that unreal athleticism. And so there's no doubt that they got better in the draft, and they got better not just for the long run, but for 2025.
Brady, I know you had a nice article about Jalen Milroe, so we'll get into that at 8 o'clock. But outside of Milroe, who, as you were alluding to, maybe not going to have the biggest impact outside of some designed packages, and then you kind of look at this team and the positions they didn't address. So still looking at the draft where didn't draft a cornerback, didn't draft an interior inside linebacker. Anything to be concerned about there? Or you think they like their starters? They're fine with bringing in some of these undrafted free agents to fill out those depth spots?
I don't think the fact that they bypassed both of those positions, like nose tackle and cornerback, I don't think that was them saying, they really like what they've got. I think that was just more a product of the way the board fell. In fact, if a cornerback that they really liked there was still available at number 92, I think they take a cornerback other than, and not Jalen Milroe. I think the Milroe pick was sort of, and we'll talk about this more when we talk about it, I think that was more of a product of kind of the way things fell to them. Obviously, they liked him all along. They brought him in for a visit. But, yeah, I think their preference may have been to take a more of a need position there, like a cornerback, maybe a wide receiver. So we'll talk about cornerbacks in Blue 88. I do think they're going to sign a veteran here at some point. That was not, bypassing both of those positions was not a reflection of them really feeling good about the depth they've got there.
Brady, that's a great tease. You're such a radio guy.
I'm learning. I've been doing this long enough.
He's in the business now. You were all over our shows during the draft, so you know what to do here. So there's a tease from Brady coming up at 7:45. Blue 88. We'll talk about cornerbacks and a lot more. But what you need to know coming up next is that rookies care a lot about their jersey number. So we will discuss that coming up next. It's Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
Super blessed, super grateful, but I feel like I should have gone a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. I had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, I kind of had the NFL, it's personal list, so that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine, and you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Friends of Waterfront Park is announcing the Meet Me at Waterfront Park 5K on May 31st. Kick off a season of celebrations leading up to the grand opening of Waterfront Park with this all-abilities race. Experience Seattle's reimagined waterfront and be a part of history with this first ever 5K at Waterfront Park. Presented by Brooks Running, Seattle's new Waterfront Park is being built for you. Come and enjoy it. 5K registration and full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Hey friends, it's Stacy with a little bit of inside info. I know there are a lot of local business owners listening right now. This message is for you. Wayscar Ford is running great pricing on all of their commercial vehicles, trucks, Super Duties, Isuzu FTRs, box trucks. The bigger, the better, and they have a ton of them. New and used models and a ton of 2025 models. I'm on their website right now. Here's one, $11,000 off. Another for $19,000 off. Wayscar Ford just expanded their heavy truck shop, and there are a ton of opportunities. They're looking for mechanics if anyone listening has heavy truck experience. Join a wonderful company at a dealership that's been in Auburn for 103 years. Take advantage of the amazing inventory and deals they have right now. Commercial sales and service for both Ford and Isuzu. A great option for people, a great option for families, and now business owners. I'm a proud customer. I know you will be too. Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 11th. Still need a gift for Mom? Puyallup Chocolates will make you look thoughtful. Send Mom a stunning gift box filled with premium chocolate treats. It's so beautiful, no wrapping is needed. Every box includes a handwritten card with your message. Order by May 7th to guarantee delivery in time for Mom. Go to PuyallupChocolates.com and use code ESPN to get 20% off. A beautiful box, a sweet surprise, and a very happy mom. PuyallupChocolates.com. Order now.
Sparta's Pizza reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Sparta's Pizza and Spaghetti House. Serving the best pizza in the universe. Come visit them in Linwood, Bothell, Mill Creek, or online at SpartasPizza.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Seahawks are on the field for rookie mini camp. It starts today. Brady will be out there. Brady, what you need to know, though, is that the rookies, they really care about the jersey numbers. I don't know if you heard this on Monday. So Nick Ebenwari was on with Lyman and Bob, and Dave asked him, hey, what number are you going to wear? And Ebenwari said, well, it's a process to try to figure it out.
It's been a little bit of discussion, but I'm still kind of like trying to figure that out. I know a lot of single-digit numbers are taken in Seattle. There's a couple free. There's a couple numbers in like the 20s. There's a number in the 30s. But still in discussion about that. So when I get up here Thursday, I'll figure out what number I'm probably going to rock. I got to, see it on my body. My body got to accept the number.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Makes sense, right? We were talking through that.
Well, it does nowadays, especially when you see, like the whole, remember when we were growing up playing football, like if you were a certain position, your number would be limited. Like if you're a safety, you'd probably be in the 20s or 30s. But now the single digit numbers, like you mentioned there, you see more players from different positions wearing the single digit numbers, including defensive backs, which it seems like you just didn't used to see. So, he's going to be in number 3, which I believe will make him the first player to wear that number since Russell Wilson left. Frankly, I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been another number 3 since then.
I went digging. They did apparently assign it to Artie Burns, but then he changed out of it in the 2023 season.
Yeah.
And he went back to 23.
23, that's right. Yeah, so we haven't seen someone wear that during, when you got a 90-man off-season roster, like you've got to use most of the numbers. And so I think there have been guys who have worn it during the offseason, but I don't believe we've seen a player wear it during the regular season, which, hey, given some of the bad blood that exists, I'm sort of surprised they haven't given that number away earlier.
Maybe they just burned the number. This number's being retired, but not because it's being honored. It's being retired. Bad karma.
Yeah.
What do you think, though? Do you feel passionately about numbers? Because I learned from Maura and Lyle that apparently both Brock and Salk have a fierce, burning hatred for some numbers. They feel very strongly that certain numbers correlate with certain players or positions. So I don't know if you felt any type of way about that.
Yeah, I think some numbers just don't really suit the eye, like 37. Like Sean Alexander, a great player. 37, that's just not a good number. It just doesn't look good. 32, that's a good number.
I think it's the odd digit, right? Like a 7 or a 3 at the end.
Maybe.
It's weird.
Yeah, but like 29, like 29's a good number.
It does depend
I
on
don't
the
know.
position.
It's the combination of the two numbers.
Yeah. Well, here's a pretty good one. Gray Zabel's wearing 76, so Steve Hutchinson gave him his blessing, and then we know that Hutchinson was very involved in the process of helping draft Zabel, so it's a pretty cool connection there. And then Jalen Milroe claimed the only other single-digit number 6. You'll see on Milroe when you're out there this weekend.
Yep, number 6, which I believe Sam Howell wore last season. So
I think they got rid of him then.
Yep, Howell leaves and Milroe slides into number 6.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Mariners begin a 6-game road trip. 3 in Arlington starts this weekend. First pitch at 5:05 tonight. Pregame coverage right here on Seattle Sports at 4 o'clock. Brian Wu gets the start tonight for the Mariners. He'll go up against Jack Leiter. Mariners got to Leiter last year. They put up 7 runs in Arlington against him. Have not faced him, obviously, this season. They have a chance to build off that series sweep over the Rangers that they picked up a couple weekends ago. Brady, have you caught Mariners fever yet? 7 straight series wins here for the M's.
I have not.
Okay, it's all right. It's only April.
Yeah. Is your guy Leiter? Is he related to Al Leiter?
Yeah, it's his son.
You're kidding me?
Yeah, that's how old we are. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was half
How do you
joking
feel?
when I said that.
How do you feel about that now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely getting to that age where, like, it happens in every sport.
It
like
is,
Asante
right?
Samuel Jr. is now in the NFL. I remember Asante Samuel Sr. playing for the Patriots. So yeah.
Well, you know who's caught baseball fever? G. Scott.
Is that right?
He's coming in at 8:30. He's very excited to talk Mariners.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll steer him back to Seahawks since you're in here, and we'll talk about the draft. But he's fully on the Mariners train right now.
Okay. Well, I think I got the vaccine, so I don't think I'm going to be catching that fever anytime soon.
You are sitting close to him. We'll see. But yeah, G came in all
I think it's
Mariners.
cute that you think G's going to stay on track and talk sports.
Yeah, I know. I was actually stunned. So last time I filled in with them, we talked sports for the entire segment, which was stunning.
Wow.
Because when it's myself, G, and Brock, we never talk sports.
Yeah.
They get a little off the track there.
You never know where it's going to go.
You never know. So get ready. Get ready for that. 8:30 with G. Shannon Drayer coming up at 7:30, and then Stacy at 9:30.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, more baseball stuff I'm throwing at you, Brady. So the Angels, they put Mike Trout on the IL with a bone bruise, left the game against the Mariners after the 3rd inning. And then the Angels, it's kind of fun to hate on them. This is the team that, the Astros are the hated rival. I kind of like seeing the Angels suffer. And I think it's from the brawl back in, 2021 or 2022, where the Angels, the Mariners had that brawl and everyone was throwing punches. Scott Service got in on it. Anthony Rendon was injured. He tried to come out swinging. Just a melee.
Wow. Sounds like a real pure sixer.
It was just
a pure six brawl.
Yeah. No.
You ever heard that?
No.
Oh. Anyways, go ahead.
Wait, what's the reference there?
I don't know what the reference is, but when there's a big brawl, it's I think it's an old bar term, a pure six brawl.
I feel like that's familiar, but I can't place it. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Okay, because when you were saying it, it had some dawning of recognition, and I'm like, no, I don't actually really know what's going on.
Anyways,
here,
I didn't mean to interrupt like that.
But that's why I kind of have some dislike and disdain, kind of like to laugh at the Angels' misery, and so they have been struggling.
Really?
They blew a 4-2 lead in the 8th yesterday, gave up 8 runs in the final 2 innings to lose to the Tigers 10-4. Yeah, and they're fans. They're tough to like. Might have gotten into a feud with an Angels radio host a couple years ago during that brawl. So, yeah, it's all good. Mariners
Who was
are
at
winning.
fault for the brawl, though?
Okay. Good backstory here a couple years later. So the Angels got all up in arms because they thought the Mariners pitcher Eric Swanson threw up and in at Mike Trout. Now, it was the 8th inning of a very close game. Swanson just missed on a pitch. He wasn't throwing at him intentionally.
Yeah.
But then the next day, the Angels intentionally hit the first 2 batters of the game for the Mariners, or hit them in back-to-back innings. So then the next time it happened, Jesse Winker went out there and just charged the mound, and then everyone came in behind him. So I'm going to blame the Angels for it.
Yeah.
They're the instigators, so they're to blame, but they keep losing, so that's a lot of fun. That's everything you need to know. And some stuff that you didn't know.
And more.
You needed to know.
And more, some stuff you don't need to know.
All of that. Actually, some news coming down the pipe as well a little bit, about an hour ago. I think it's official now. Recently fired Penguins coach Mike Sullivan has been hired as the next coach of the Rangers. So the Kraken, they need a coach, but there's a target that's off the board there.
And Mike Salk is not available? Is that what I understand?
He's not here. I mean, could be interviewing as we speak.
Oh, no, he was coaching his girls' basketball team, right?
No, hockey also.
Oh, he is coaching.
Right,
okay.
Hockey too. Isn't he been going travel hockey?
I think he's filled in a time or two.
Okay, so he could be on the radar.
That's true. He's been traveling. I don't know if he's been coaching, but that is probably a dream for Salk, to to get to that.
He
that
could
head
be on.
job.
He could be on the short list.
Okay, I think he is.
Maybe the long list.
You know what? Brady's a reporter. I think you might have uncovered something here.
Yeah.
So we don't really know why Salk is out today. Supposedly it's a college reunion, but that could be a good cover story for him to go interview for the Kraken job.
Could be.
So, all right, put that on your radar. Mike Salk, next head coach of the Kraken. That is everything you need to know. We're going to get back to baseball. Shannon Drayer, our Mariners insider, will join us coming up next. She is in Texas getting ready for the start of that series against the Rangers. Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson with you here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
Super blessed, super grateful, but yeah, I feel like I should have gone a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like I kind of had like an NFL, it's personal list, so like that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's me, the foul pole at T-Mobile Park. But it's about time they call me the fair pole, because those are the moments I live for. When Cal's up to the plate, I'm always on high alert.
The big number with a 2-run blast.
And then there's Randy Arozarena, launching missiles into the stands, flipping his bat so high it practically reaches my eye level.
Blasted back, Randy Arozarena strikes again.
And J-Rod, heck, when he connects, he makes the whole building shake.
And it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. Julio Rodriguez.
So come on down and take a seat beside me. You might even go home with a souvenir. Mariners baseball, Trident's up.
The Mariners are celebrating Mother's Day weekend during a 3-game series May 9th to 11th. And on Mother's Day, Sunday the 11th, the first 10,000 moms will score a clear purse thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Then the action continues with a showdown against the Yankees May 12th to 14th. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
Little help. A little help over here? Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance. What? Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers. Seriously? Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin.
Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers, and one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, what we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner, and that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Big stretch coming up here. A lot to talk about. Seahawks rookie minicamp going on this weekend. The Mariners start. A 6-game road trip begins later tonight in Texas. And someone who's down there, our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. Shannon, welcome. I hope it's hot down there. And I say that because I realized that after you left the booth on Wednesday, you left your jacket. So I hope you don't need it on this road trip.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not good. Now I'm going to be obsessed about that the whole trip.
Well,
Thanks, Mike.
it's sitting. No. I was going to let you know it's sitting there. It is safe in your seat in the broadcast booth. So I'm just hoping it's hot there, right? You're not going to need it in Texas. You're not going to need it in Sacramento. Your jacket will be safe for you when you return.
Yeah, this is the first trip. It feels kind of early for it, but yeah, that you haven't had to pack anything extra for cold. And as I say that, we'll probably have historic lows in Texas the next 3 days.
Yeah. Well,
no, it's going to be fine.
I was going to say, Shannon, getting past the big coat issue, if that's the only thing that goes wrong, then it's been a good trip. But, we just heard your interview with Cal yesterday, that new edition of the Cal Raleigh Show. And it was funny because you were talking about the base stealing. And at that point, because it aired on it was recorded on Tuesday, he had not stolen another base yet, and lo and behold, Cal steals another one. He's now at 4. So it looks like your goal for him, 10, is well within reach. I mean, what does this look like for Cal Raleigh and this Mariners team, that they are very aggressive, then they're a definitive threat, pretty much everyone in the lineup to steal?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to watch. And for Cal, he's opportunistic about it. I think he's going to do a heads-up type base stealing, and that, you just heard it, so I don't need to explain it to you. He had 6 last year. He got off to a good start, and that's where I thought, well, maybe you could get 10. And for fun, I mean, what's more fun to track than catcher steals, right? So I say somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but hey, we're challenging him. But the entire team, and this is something that I have wondered about this club for the last few years, is how much can you maximize what you can do on the bases? And it's not a number that they're going to give you, but I've always wondered, how many runs last season could you have generated, or when you go into a season, how many runs do you think you can generate on the bases? And it's not just the stealing, it's the first to third, it's the heads up, taking the extra base wherever you can. And I do think that we are seeing it play out, and you're seeing what a difference that can make. And when you're talking about what you were talking about going into the season, where this pitching staff just needs one run, they've been able to do that. Luckily, they have been able to do a lot more because this pitching staff has needed more than one run this year. But it's a great mindset to keep from start to finish. And, some guys are going to have the green light. They're going to be base stealers who are going to be able to go pretty much whenever they want. Others will be told, when you can go, we'll get a little bit of help from Eric Young Jr. over at first base. It'll be, hey, this guy on the hill, extremely slow to the plate, or this reliever in particular, look for it here. But I do think that we are seeing, and I don't know what the exact number is, but I do think that we are seeing the add-on there. And if we're seeing it early and it having an impact early, all the better as the season goes on.
Yeah, it's fascinating because really it's been spread throughout the lineup. I mean, Mitch Garver has 2 stolen bases. This is not like the Mariners with 37 stolen bases have 10 of them from Julio and 12 from Arozarena, and just 2 or 3 guys are doing this. But, we talked about Garver in the Angels game. Was that just, like you mentioned, that recognition and the empowerment of okay, if this situation is there, any one of you can take this base if you see something?
It is, and I think it also talks to kind of the state of the mind of the team and where their focus is, because you have to be looking for that. That's how dialed into the game. Not just can I go here, but it's what can I do for this club to, advance another 90 feet. And I think that a lot of times in the past, particularly when you have seen struggle with this team, I think a lot of guys were out there and it was very much more individuals trying to hit than it was an entire offense trying to produce. And I think that probably what they saw and what they started in the messaging last year, I think you had more time with it in spring training, and the fact that you're seeing immediate results. Again, it's early, but seeing those results helps so much. And people looking around saying, hey, this is fun. It works. I don't have to worry about the guy behind me. I don't have to worry about doing it all myself. And, if I don't get the big hit, when I unleash my best swing, my A swing, and if I get to 2 strikes, there's a lot of value in what I can do at that point too to try and help contribute to a run if I can't drive it in myself.
Shannon, this offense has been pretty impressive 1 through 9, or then even, hey, everyone they're bringing in off the bench seems like they've been productive over this 7-series win stretch. But at what point do you think the injuries are going to be too much, if you do think that? Because I guess the attrition in the lineup, when you rattle off the names, it's kind of concerning. To this point, it hasn't really affected them. They keep winning. But do you think there'll be a point where they're going to have to make some decision about, okay, well, we don't have anyone else to call up, and we aren't able to fully replace everything we've lost in this lineup?
Well, I mean, there's nothing you can do. It is next man up.
So this is just it.
They have to keep playing. And so, do the best with the 9 that you have out on the field. In the meantime, I think guys are seeing opportunity, which is great. And you're talking about, it's not like Leo Rivas hasn't played big league games before. He has. It's not like Miles Mastroboni hasn't played big league games before. He has as well. And, these guys, I think, do see good opportunity. I do think that they are thriving in this situation, which good for them. I don't think that there's a ton that you can do in trade. I don't think there's much of anything you can do in trade right now. There are waiver claims, but is it going to be better than what you have? And I think that also you kind of look at, the players that you have are the players that are really well versed in what they're doing right now. And so I think there is a value for that. There will be a time when they're going to look to make some moves, hopefully some significant, because they have the pieces to do it. But that's going to be much later in the season. So, they'll do what they can if that situation comes up. But I do think the guys put it behind them pretty quickly when they lose somebody, and we've got a lot of season ahead of us. We're not just going to fold it up because we've lost 5, 6, 7 players. Whatever happens, they're just going to have to pick up, and we'll see what goes from there.
Shannon, what do you make about what we've seen from Emerson Hancock lately? Over his past couple of starts, he's been vitally important to this Mariners team, and I'm not sure that was expected after his first start of the season when then he was sent down immediately, but now he's come up and been a stabilizing factor, and it feels like it's kind of imperative with the injuries they have. But has there been something that's kind of changed, or what have you noticed recently with Hancock?
Well, I don't think we can take much from that first outing. That was just a bad first outing, and there wasn't even enough to look at it to evaluate. I think one of the reasons he was sent down is because they had to get fresh arms up. When that happens, it's not just the starter, it's everything behind it, and that early in the season, a lot tougher to deal with. So I do think, he was in such a good place in spring training, and I do think that there is a lot of belief in what he can do to help this team. I don't think he was ever meant to be buried down in AAA or anything like that. But what I absolutely really love about seeing him right now is he knows who he is, and he's very different than the rest of the starters in the rotation. He's not going to go out there and get strikeouts. He has to know that he is a put-it-in-play guy, and he is. And if he is going to be that, he's got to be ultra-aggressive with everything that he's got. He can't be around the edges. He can't be trying to trick them. He can't be trying to fool. He's got to go after them with his best stuff. And when his game is on, he has got a very, very good – he's got a plus changeup. But you can't live on that alone. It plays well off the sinker, but if he is able to get the four-seamer up to the top rail, then he's in really good shape. But at that point, he's only working north-south, working up and down, and that was kind of what was missing from his game and what you can see them working to add in. Over the offseason, he worked on a bunch of different breaking balls, so he would have something more east-west, and particularly something that goes left more for him. And it's one thing to get down in spring training and feel good about all of those. It's another thing to take it into the game. And the thing that I like, well, there are two things. I like that he stayed aggressive when he got into trouble in his last start, but I also like that he was throwing that slider quite a bit and a little bit of the sweeper too. Having mixed success, he did have some success, some of it did get hit, but he kept going with it. And I do credit Mitch Garver. I think that he was being very aggressive with that to the point where he called back-to-back sliders in the first inning. And that is, Emerson Hancock's number 4 pitch right now. But he needs it for effect, if nothing else. But he also had some effectiveness. He got a strikeout on that one. Next time that same batter came up, it was a home run on the first pitch. So you got to be careful how you use it. But the fact that he was able to use it early, willing to use it, willing to get hit with it a little bit, shows you that he is willing to continue to develop that at the big league level. And, they've got to do what they're supposed to do, but you've got to be internally committed to it. He's clearly committed to it. So if he stays on the attack, I think if he is able to add one of those breaking pitches or even both the slider and the sweeper, he's going to be in much better shape. But I think that what we've seen so far, he's in a good state of mind that, he wasn't rocked by what happened that first outing. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know we were remarking on it on Wednesday while he was in the middle of his outing. But, yeah, that slider, threw it 20 times. Second most utilized pitch. In the 99 pitches he threw, 43 sinkers, 20 sliders. So that could be really fascinating to watch moving forward. It kind of feels like a little bit, right, the mold of where Logan Gilbert will just come back with a new pitch, and all of a sudden it's this new weapon. And Bryce Miller seems like he has a new pitch every offseason. Is this something with the mindset of these pitchers specifically, or is this, the Mariners pitching staff and their coaches say, hey, we want you to explore what you can do. We want you to kind of figure out new ways. Or is this kind of internally the rotation kind of taking it upon themselves to tinker in the offseason and during spring training?
Well, I think with Hancock, it was kind of more traditional in that he really needed another pitch.
Yeah.
And I think that with the others, what we have seen, and it changes because Luis Castillo, not changing anything. He's not adding anything. Not going to happen. Brian Wu, they don't really want to change anything or add anything, whereas your Tinkerers are Miller and Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, too. In fact, he's kind of the original. Robbie Ray was the first one who came up with the pitch on the fly when he added, I think it was a two-seamer when he did that. And George Kirby followed up really quickly with that. So he'll play with things as well. But as far as the mindset goes, they want them working on all sorts of different things because you never know when you're going to need it. And they've got a rotation that is willing to do it, that has embraced it, so they go for it. There's no question with it, with most of them. At the same time, you don't want them focusing on things too much. And I think Bryce Miller feels that he got away from his number 1 pitch, his four-seam fastball. Sometimes, that can happen. There's got to be a balance. So what they do is they let the pitchers be as creative as they want. They have those pitches that we see in spring training and perhaps don't see in games or don't see until mid-season or maybe never see at all. And they call them their side projects. And they do have time that's devoted to that. And just really the feeling is they want these guys as athletic as possible, doing different things, throwing from different angles, because you never know when that's going to help you, even if it isn't something that you take into a game. And so they're encouraged to do that. They are supported in spring training in particular if they really want to work on something. You think about the Andres Munoz kick change, and it was the best pitch we've ever seen ever in spring training, and he's thrown it exactly once. in the season, and then maybe I'll throw it a little bit more. And now he's pretty much shelved it, but very quietly has added a straight change with a circle grip that helped him out, got him a strikeout a couple starts ago. And so it is kind of an ongoing thing. It's part of who they are, and it's a very different approach. And other teams are doing it now. I think the Mariners were on the forefront. But it used to be everything needs to be exactly the same. How often did you hear, repeatability when you were talking about pitchers, repeatability of delivery? Now it's completely away from that. It's be athletic, because you might not be able to be perfect in your delivery every single start that you make or every appearance you make. So if you have in your warm-ups and your catch play, maybe thrown from different angles, maybe drastic, maybe just to tick off, then you can adapt. You've done it before.
Well, Shannon, as we also learned in your conversation with Cal, neither you or him have been to Sacramento. So I guess we'll look forward to hearing you in Sacramento after the series in Arlington. But that should be interesting, I imagine, going to play in a minor league ballpark for this team.
Yeah, I hope they don't get too homer hungry there. And I have heard some guys already talk, just home runs, because that's what's been happening there, and everybody likes a good home run. But no, it'll be fun. I think, we'll tape the next show from there. Should be a fun YouTube video on that one too. Something different for us.
Okay, there's a good tease. So stay tuned for the next Cal Raleigh show. Going to be a unique taping there from Sacramento. Shannon, we will hear from you later, I guess, with Mariners pregame starting at 4. And thanks for joining us this morning.
And thank you for protecting my jacket.
Yeah, it's there. It's safe. It's not going anywhere. It'll be there when you get back. All right, there's our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. Some good M's insight before the series opener. Brian Wu on the mound as they start against the Rangers later this afternoon. But Brady Henderson's here. So, Brady, we're going to use you here because now it's time for Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Yeah, you wait for the drop there. I was also going to try to do this very lame over-the-top voiceover and just insert your name live instead of Brock, but it was obvious and wouldn't have sounded good.
Oh, yeah. You'd probably have to change
Brock.
the number, too.
Yeah.
Blue 88's Brock, but Blue 42.
Not 37, obviously.
Not 37, no.
Blue, not 37 for you here, Brady. Okay, first of all, we have rookie minicamp going on this weekend. Is there an undrafted free agent that you're going to keep your eye on this weekend?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Tyrone Broden, who's the receiver from Arkansas. Get this, Mike Lefko, 6'7". The guy's 6'7".
Okay.
And he apparently runs in the high 4.3s. So that is, you don't see many 6'7" wide receivers very often. Now, he obviously went undrafted. Didn't have a whole lot of production at Arkansas. I think he was under 200 receiving yards last season, but 6'7", running in the 4.3s, that's going to get my attention any day of the week. Connor O'Toole is an edge player from Utah. He got, from what I understand, to be one of the, if not the highest combinations of signing bonuses and overall guarantees that the Seahawks have ever given to an undrafted free agent. I think it was a $30,000 signing bonus, guaranteed him something like $264,000. Now, those contracts for undrafted free agents, those salary guarantees, the base salary guarantee, those do have offsets. So there's really no reason not to do that, meaning if he ends up getting cut by the Seahawks and signs with another team, the Seahawks, that $234,000 would be offset based on whatever he makes from a new team. But the bottom line is they guaranteed him quite a bit of money. That means they obviously see something in him. And then the third guy is Zy Alexander, who's the cornerback from LSU who transferred there, played some pretty good football for them the last couple years. Did miss some time with some injuries. Also ran, I think, a 4.56, something in the high 4.5s, which obviously is not very fast for a cornerback. So that's probably among the biggest reasons why he didn't get drafted, despite playing some good football at obviously a very big school. So Zy Alexander, because of the profile, because of the need, which we'll get into later in Blue 42. Is that what we're calling it?
Hey, you're here. Name it whatever number you want.
Blue 42, how about that? Because of the need, being a big position of need for them, and because of the profile, I think he, among those guys, he probably has one of the better shots. If any of those guys are going to crack the roster, you would think that Zy Alexander has a good shot at doing it because of the need at that spot.
Well, you know what's interesting is that last year we just saw the Seahawks cut a draft pick. They cut a cornerback that they drafted. So it feels like, hey, if there's an undrafted guy that's going to come in and beat someone out for a roster spot, if it's a position of need, why not? I don't know. That's not necessarily rare to cut a draft pick, right? But they did, what was it, 5th round pick?
Yeah, that was, I think,
James.
a 6th round pick
yeah.
in DJ James. Yeah. So once you get past the 5th round, those guys aren't necessarily guaranteed to make the team. But yeah, DJ James didn't come in and do a good enough job. I don't think he was physical enough for them. And, that was kind of a statement move by them to cut a guy that they drafted because, yeah, I mean, you don't always see those guys make the team, but a 6th round pick, that's when you start to not totally be guaranteed to make the team. He didn't, but the point is with Alexander is they've got a need there and he's got a chance to stick.
All right, number 2. Maybe this goes hand in hand, Brady, but where do the Seahawks still need to strengthen their roster as you look around this team and kind of at the depth chart?
Well, there's a reason I teased it in the last answer. It's at cornerback.
Oh, cool. Nice. See, there you go. You teased it earlier in the show. You teased it right there. That's how you do radio, Brady.
That's right. I'm learning. Now, I think with the Gray Zabel pick, I think the biggest need on this team shifts from interior offensive line to now cornerback. I think, you could line up right now with what they've got. You could line up with Josh Jobe as the 3rd guy, with obviously Devin Witherspoon and Rick Wolin filling the top 2 spots, but not a whole lot of depth behind those guys, which is why they're looking at a veteran player. You saw them bring in Shaquille Griffin for a visit a couple weeks ago. I think that would probably be their number 1 choice, I would guess, just because of the familiarity. He played in 17 games with Minnesota last year, had a couple interceptions, including one that won them a game versus Arizona. And again, I think with that familiarity, I think that would make a lot of sense. But if you can't get that deal done, I'll give you a name, Mike Lefkoe. Rasul Douglas. He's probably one of the better guys who are still available. Same draft class as Shaquille Griffin, same round, 3rd round pick, 2017. This guy, here's a little scouting term for you if you want to sound like you know football.
I'm going to type this down right here. Okay.
Ball production. What does ball production means? What does that mean? That means 19 interceptions, in 8 years, 79 passes defense.
Is that the official term going around for that now?
I think that's what people in the NFL say, ball production.
Things catch on from year to year.
Yeah, I think ball production is the catch-all for, hey, this guy's got good ball skills, and it shows up in the stat sheet. Maybe not as fast as Shaquille Griffin. I think he was in the high 4.5s as well, which is probably why he fell to the 3rd round. But this guy has got some. This guy's got some good ball skills. Started a bunch of games in the NFL. Played in 15 games for Buffalo last season. And again, if you're just looking at alternatives to Shaq Griffin, you look at the names who are still out there. I think Rasul Douglas is probably the biggest name outside of Shaquille Griffin. So if they can't get Griffin done, I would think that would be a natural pivot for them.
Well, and there's that great unknown as you're talking about all these cornerbacks that they don't have an outside cornerback signed past this season.
Yeah.
Because Rick Wolin, final year of his rookie contract, Josh Jobe on a 1-year deal. So, those are 2 starting spots this year, and you might have to replace both of them next season.
Yeah, and any guy they sign right now, I mean, these 2 guys we're talking about here, they're both 30 years old. So you're talking about probably 1-year stopgap type options as opposed to long-term guys. But you need that stopgap guy to kind of backfill the depth just because, you could start right now, but if one of those guys goes down, not a whole lot of proven depth behind them.
All right, number 3. Brady, this seems like a simple question, but I know you have a very good reason for answering this and you have a good explanation behind it. How fast is Elijah Arroyo?
That's a great question, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
Well, yeah.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
Thought you'd never ask.
You know what? I like when you say my full name because I know I have to dial in and pay attention. Okay, here's some good stuff about to come into your ears here because you said Mike Lefkoe.
Just wait till I throw
Lefkoe.
Just wait till I throw in the middle name. That's when you're really in trouble.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So Elijah Arroyo did not run a 40, from what I understand, during the pre-draft process because he re-injured his knee, or he injured his knee, I think, at the Senior Bowl. So didn't end up running at the Combine, didn't end up running at his pro day. But I think 40 times, they're not going by the wayside by any means, but I think the importance of 40 times is maybe not what it used to be because now teams have these GPS trackers and they can tell how fast a guy ran in a game, with pads on. And that in some ways becomes, I think, more valuable than an actual 40 time because when you're running a 40 at the Combine, you're doing that in, underwear, basically. Whereas the GPS times, that's going to give you a real good idea of how fast the player ran with helmet and shoulder pads on. So from what I understand, the GPS times that they had on Elijah Arroyo would translate to a 4.52 or a 4.53. That's pretty fast for a tight end, a guy who's, 6'4", what is he, 6'5", 250
And they want to split him out as a receiver, too, right? Mike McDonald mentioned that after they drafted him.
Yeah, and there was some thought that he could be sort of a big X receiver, kind of like, DK Metcalf is the big X receiver. So he's not DK Metcalf, but a guy who runs, what would translate to a 4.52 at that size and that kind of route running ability. You can do a lot with that guy, and I think that's why they drafted him as early as they did. And again, I continue to say it, that's kind of what Noah Fant is. He's a big-bodied, fast tight end, but Noah Fant is set to make $9 million this season with a $13.5 million cap number. So I continue to believe that if Elijah Arroyo really comes in, and if you see that speed on the field, you see that route running, and if he shows them that he can, step into that number one role right away, then I think things get very interesting with Noah Fant. Let's say if a need comes up with another team, or if they get into a situation where they need some cap space, I think he is a player that could become a cap casualty.
Good stuff there from Brady Henderson on normally Blue 88, but we're here. We're going to call it whatever we want. So, Blue, insert your favorite number there. Thanks for that insight, Brady. We're keeping you around, though, because you have some more good stuff to get to. You're an article about Jalen Milroe, and he is, I would say, and I think a lot of people would agree, the most fascinating pick of this draft class. So I'm going to just dub it that. Most fascinating pick of the Seahawks draft class, Jalen Milroe, what you do with him this year, what you do with him in the future. We're going to talk about all of that coming up. This is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Nicky Manwari's been compared to Cam Chancellor, but have you heard another one that you think may be a better fit?
He's a mix between Cam Chancellor and a Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is a bit better when it comes to covering, and Cam Chancellor was just that pit bull roaming the block, ready to bite anybody who goes across the middle of the field. He has a little bit of both in him.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. Youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When an 18-wheeler ran a red light and took the life of a Tacoma man in 2021, his family trusted Davis Law Group to fight for them. And we recovered a $3.5 million settlement and held the trucking company accountable for his death. Accident victims have trusted Davis Law Group to win their case for the past 30 years. And hundreds of 5-star reviews from real clients are proof that we've earned that trust. Call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. Residential, commercial, and turf supply. With locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brooke and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Mike Lefko and Brady Henderson actually here with you today on a Friday. I am a little worried for you, Brady.
Why's that?
Sorry, I'm just a little concerned about what's going to happen at 8:30. We got a preview of it as G. Scott blew through here and loudly exclaimed that he had some concerns
He's got
about
some
your
issues.
look
He's
right
got
now.
a bone to pick with me.
Yeah, all right. So I hope he doesn't offend you too much, but we'll get to that at 8:30. G's going to drop in for that segment, and then Stacy Rost will join us at 9:30. I want to get to your article, though, about Jalen Milroe. And when it happened, it was that, wow, okay, this is a pick. This is a little spice to the draft. Not just the Seahawks draft, but I think to the entire NFL draft, that Jalen Milroe going 92 overall. What do you like about the pick, first of all? Then we can kind of dig into the actual expectations for him. But why did the Seahawks make this pick here at 92?
What do I like about it? Well, quarterbacks are fun to write about. They drafted a quarterback who is not your typical quarterback.
Selfishly, thanks for the content.
So selfishly,
okay.
yes,
Yeah.
I love the pick for that reason, is because it gives me something very intriguing to write about. But no, again, I think we talked about this earlier in the show. I mean, they obviously very much, they liked him a lot through the process, and they brought him in for a visit. And I don't know if he was the player they would have totally preferred to draft there. I do kind of wonder if that was a situation where, maybe some cornerbacks, maybe some wide receivers kind of vanished in front of them, and they're sitting there saying, Jalen Milroe is a lottery ticket, right? Because, look, I don't think anybody with that organization or anybody in the NFL denies the strides that he has to make as a passer in order to ever become an NFL starter. But I think they look at that and say, because there is so much athleticism, so much running ability, because the arm, I think he's got a plenty strong arm, that if he ends up honing his accuracy, developing as a passer, you just hit the lottery. Because with his running ability, if you combine that with a competent arm, then you have got a very, very dangerous quarterback. So I think they view it as, look, even if he never develops as a passer, you still have this incredible athlete to come in and play, in some sort of like specialty packages, whether it's, Wildcat or, running the zone read, things like that. And that's somebody who is going to help your run game and somebody who's going to really give, as Mike Macdonald said, is going to give defensive coordinators headaches. I think Macdonald realizes, as a defensive coordinator himself, how difficult it is to prepare for guys like that. He had to practice against Lamar Jackson for a number of years. And I think the Lamar, I'm not comparing these two necessarily, but I think the Lamar reference goes beyond that, because remember the conversation about Lamar Jackson coming out of college. I mean, it wasn't just Bill Polian who thought, remember Bill Polian caught a ton of crap for saying that he should convert to wide receiver. He was not the only person who thought that, just because he was so kind of rough around the edges as a passer that there were some people who thought that, he's never going to make it as an actual quarterback in the NFL, so you might want to switch positions. Well, Lamar Jackson is a pretty good example that, okay, if the guy's got the tools and if he has the desire and the want to, you can develop as a passer in the NFL. So I think that's why the Lamar reference, it's not just about how dangerous he can be as a runner. It's, hey, that's a pretty good example that Mike Macdonald saw firsthand of a guy who was very raw as a passer, but who has obviously developed into a guy who, completes 65% of his passes. He's got 2 MVP awards under his belt. He's Pro Bowler seemingly every year. Lamar Jackson has become a very good passer despite being pretty raw in that part of his game coming out of college. And Mike Macdonald saw that, and I wonder how much that factored into the thinking there with him.
Brady, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, because Daniel Jeremiah told this to Brock and Salk a couple of days ago. When Wyman and I heard this yesterday, we kind of did a double take. It was not something we expected to hear about Jalen Milroe's usage this year, but here's what DJ had to say about this.
Okay, I'm going to say I think Jalen Milroe is going to get a chance to start two or three games. It's just hard. The odds
in
are
year
your the odds are your quarterback's going to get nicked up. He's going to miss some time. It's a long season, and this is one of the things I get excited about Milroe. And I understand he's got a long ways to go in terms of his development as a passer, but he's like the perfect skill set to me for such a thing. Like, it's, hey, we got, Sam needs a couple weeks. His ribs are messed up. We got to, we can run him out there, and we can just commit to his legs and that style of play for a couple weeks. I don't think initially you couldn't run him out there for much more than that, because you're going to need more from him as a passer.
So that feels like an interesting short-term versus long-term debate. I don't know what you think about hearing that, hey, potentially starting 2 or just if there's a backup option needed, if it's Milroe as the guy who gets the call.
Yeah, I would guess he doesn't start any games this year because Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock is the backup, and they signed Drew Lock to be the backup, guaranteed him. He didn't get a huge contract for a backup. It was 2 years, $5 million. But they guaranteed him enough money to suggest that they're not going to cut him. So if there's the only way I could see that happening was if Jalen Milroe looked so good, throughout the spring and in training camp that they decided that he was ready to step into the number 2 role, and they found a trade partner for Drew Lock. But I think outside of that, I think Milroe is going to come in to be the number 3. I do think he's going to play as the number 3, but if they get in a situation where they need someone to step in because Sam Darnold is hurt, I would think that they would give that start to Drew Lock.
It did kind of get me wondering, though, would that actually be better for the Seahawks long term? If Jalen Milroe is your guy, if you think this is a guy that, sure, we took a low-risk gamble on, but if he can become a franchise type of quarterback, short term, if you're competing for a playoff spot this year, probably not the best to put Milroe in over Lock. But if you're trying to build a championship contender in 26 or 27, would you maybe give that a consideration, like DJ was saying, to say, look, if this guy can start a game, get some confidence from that, a la Patrick Mahomes, the final game of that season before he took over as the Chiefs starter, would you entice that option perhaps? Or is it no, it's just Lock firmly because of what they signed him to, because he's come in, he has started games before and won games before for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, maybe if you're in a situation late in the year where your season's going nowhere, you don't have a shot at the playoffs, you really want to take a look at what you have in Milroe, then I could see it. But I just think there's a reason this guy fell to the 3rd round, despite running a 4.40 and having a ton of college starts at Alabama. I mean, the accuracy is not where it needs to be. And I think that is the part of this conversation that everyone has to be realistic about, is the accuracy needs to get a whole lot better before he's ready to become a full-time starter. And, I wrote some numbers, had some of the numbers in the article I wrote. I mean, some of the deep ball, he did have more success on deep balls, but even that may have been a product of you got some really good receivers that you're throwing to, and sometimes you throw it up and those guys go and get it. So I think everyone needs to kind of approach this with a realistic point of view that, you can't throw that guy out there right away and expect him to, when the passing windows get smaller in the NFL, the defensive players get better. Like, he will need to improve his accuracy at the next level, and some guys can do that, some guys can't. Lamar Jackson did it, but if he really develops as a passer, again, you just hit the lottery, and that might be the best pick in the draft.
Well, it was something that really stood out to me, and I was trying to find the exact number from your article, but yeah, as you wrote in here, that his QBR dropped from 85 to 13 while under pressure.
Well, yeah, under pressure and in the red zone.
He completed only 48% of his passes.
Yeah, 48.
Under pressure.
That's right. Well, no, that was in the
in the red zone. Sorry,
yeah, there was two different
in
stats.
The red zone.
Yeah, in the red zone, the completion percentage dropped to 48%. So, yeah, the bottom line is the guy has work to do as a passer, but even if he never develops, you still have this weapon that you can use. And again, as Mike McDonald said, to give defensive coordinators some headaches.
Yeah, I'm excited about the potential. And that's why, I mentioned most fascinating picks, certainly the options that you could bring in with him, the added dimension to this offense. But because it's a quarterback and because they so rarely take quarterbacks, I think there's always going to be that element of, well, is this the franchise quarterback? Because teams they're in an endless pursuit for that guy. You go through the desert looking for your Burrow or Allen or Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or anyone. So that's going to always kind of linger with Jalen Milroe, I think.
Yeah, and that was a splurge that I think they were in a good position to take. Again, because I think positions of bigger need for them, kind of, guys that they liked kind of vanished in front of them. But, they had already kind of taken care of business earlier in the draft, taking Gray Zabel. Adding to two other spots that are more need positions. I think they were in a spot to where, okay, you can splurge a little bit on a quarterback that you don't really need, but a guy who I think fits the system, fits what the offensive coordinator has done in the past with Taysom Hill. Now, that comparison I think only makes sense to a point because Taysom Hill did a lot of blocking or does a lot of blocking as kind of like a hybrid tight end, H-back kind of guy. Milroe's not going to do that. Mike McDonald made that clear that when he's coming in, he's going to be a quarterback. But I think the other part of it, too, was Milroe the person. And it sounds like he has a very good head on his shoulders, the son of two military parents. He was won the, whatever it's called, the William Campbell Trophy, which is basically the academic Heisman, so the best scholar athlete in the country. And he really impressed them when they brought him in for a visit before the draft. And I think they really got a sense of just how determined he is to be a really good player and the belief that he has in himself. And so that was another part of this too, is that, you feel good about the person that you're drafting. And again, he doesn't necessarily have to really ever develop and to become a starter in order to make that a worthwhile pick, because even if he doesn't develop as a passer, you have this incredible athlete who can really add another dimension to your offense, kind of in, coming in for a few plays a game in these specialty packages.
Well, Milroe, just one of a handful of rookies and undrafted free agents going through rookie minicamp this weekend. It starts today. We'll tell you everything you need to know about that and much more. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, we're getting close to the weekend. You guys know what you are doing yet? Why don't you go to Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel? Breathtaking views, world-class dining, and great restaurants. And then, yes, the entertainment. You can elevate your little getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. And this summer, the Outdoor Concert Series is back. Awesome artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, POD, all this summer with the beautiful views of the Snoqualmie Valley. Go to snocasino.com and get your tickets. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather. new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends, Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Secret Clinical Dominating Extra Stinky Stress Sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Hey, it's Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come to work for IRG. With just over 40 locations in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, you have the opportunity to work in the city and place you want with a great team, a great atmosphere, and great mentorship.
Shannon, what type of staff are you looking to hire? Is it just clinical staff right now?
We are looking to hire not only physical therapists, but also occupational therapists, exercise techs, athletic trainers, front office coordinators. We have a whole platform of different services we provide to the community.
Over 40 clinics in the Pacific Northwest. There are openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers and apply today. But Shannon, will they have any fun coming to work at IRG?
Oh my gosh, Brock, that's what it's all about. We want to have fun. We're all about passion. We're all about positivity. We want people to change lives. That's what we're doing here at IRG. We're changing lives, not only of our employees, our patients, and our communities. We want you to be your best self.
So head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers, and apply today.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 11th. Still need a gift for Mom? Puyallup Chocolates will make you look thoughtful. Send Mom a stunning gift box filled with premium chocolate treats. It's so beautiful, no wrapping is needed. Every box includes a handwritten card with your message. Order by May 7th to guarantee delivery in time for Mom. Go to PuyallupChocolates.com and use code ESPN to get 20% off. A beautiful box, a sweet surprise, and a very happy mom. PuyallupChocolates.com. Order now.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers, and one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org.
need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Rookie minicamp is going on this weekend for the Seahawks. It begins today. They're on the field practicing today and tomorrow. And Brady, numbers are a big deal for these rookies. And we talked about this a little bit, the attachment to some numbers. I'm actually going to throw this out to our listeners. And we'll bring it back when G's here at 8:30. So 866-979-3776. If I were like Brock, I'd say it a couple more times. 866-979-3776. 866-979-3776. That's what Brock does. Brock does everything 3 times. Yeah,
he's got a good cadence.
He's got that good.
Leave it to the
snappy,
quarterback.
3-time cadence there. Yeah. So all right, for real though, 866-979-3776. Do you have an attachment to a number, either one you wore or a number that you just think fits with a certain player? Because we're talking about a guy like Nick Emanwari who has claimed number 3. Which is getting a lot of interest because it's the first time it's going to be seen in a game since Russell Wilson left the Seahawks.
That's right. And I'll give you another number. I think this was the number that John Schneider threw out yesterday. 72 players who are going to be at their rookie minicamp between, obviously, their draft picks, their undrafted guys, and then guys who were there on a tryout basis. Now, sometimes you will see guys who aren't rookies but maybe haven't played enough in the NFL to where they still qualify as being eligible for that rookie minicamp. And so there are going to be 72 guys out there. I think, look, this is not a time of the year where you really evaluate offensive linemen. So I don't think we're going to learn a whole lot about Gray Zabel until, the summer when the pads come on and they start actually hitting. But this is a time where you can start to look at what Jalen Milroe, what the accuracy looks like, what the speed looks like. And so he is going to be the guy that I have my eye on, and I imagine that's going to be the case with a lot of people who are watching the minicamp over the next couple days.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Also going on this weekend, Mariners and Rangers. 3 in Arlington after the Mariners swept the Rangers a couple of weekends ago. So they'll put their 7-game series win streak on the line with first pitch at 5:05. Pre-game coverage with Shannon Drayer begins at 4 o'clock. It's Brian Wu getting the start, and it's an interesting place for Wu because Arlington, the site of his MLB debut, it was a rough one. It was a tough Texas lineup, a team that would go on to win the World Series, and Brian Wu got thrown into the fire, gave up a handful of runs. He has struggled in Arlington, so for a pitcher that's been so good for the Mariners, in his prior 3 starts there, he's given up at least 4 runs every time. That'll be a big key to watch for with Wu today. Then on the other side, you know this guy now, Brady, Jack Leiter. Al's son, as you call him, yeah.
That's right.
So he is getting the start for the Rangers. Mariners saw him twice in September last year. They did well. They won both of those games. That included scoring 7 runs in Arlington. We'll see if the offense continues that hot stretch beginning at 5:05.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
And our hated Angels, I got Brady on the hate train for the Angels. We were just discussing some Ron Washington history there. Longtime manager of the Rangers, now managing the Angels. But they're putting Mike Trout on the IL with a bone bruise. He left the game against the Mariners after that 3rd inning. We kind of discovered it when the Angels came to the plate in the 4th. The bases were loaded. Mike Trout was coming up. Lo and behold, it was not Mike Trout. It was Joe Adell. So Trout officially placed on the IL with a bone bruise, and the Angels just continue to struggle. They gave up 8 runs in the final 2 innings to lose to the Tigers 10-4. Reed Detmers, who the Mariners kind of torched in that 7th inning, gave up 4 runs in just a 1/3 of an inning, so they are reeling right now. On the other end of that is the Royals. Bobby Witt Jr. extended his hit streak to an MLB best 22 straight games, had a go-ahead 2-run homer. The Royals beat the Rays 8-2. Kansas City has won 9 of their last 10. And a potential coaching target for the Kraken is off the board. Mike Sullivan, recently fired by the Penguins, has been hired by the Rangers. We have a theory, though, that this could be good news for the host of this show, Mike Salk. And maybe that's why he's not here today. He's interviewing with the Kraken.
You never know.
This is not you, Brady Henderson, as a reporter, but this is just you throwing out a theory.
I'm throwing it out there.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not putting it into print, so we'll just throw out this theory that Mike Salk might be a candidate for the Kraken job.
Quick story. Bonneville Company holiday party 2010 or 11. It was down at the ShoWare Center where they rented out the ice rink there. I saw Mike Salk on skates looking as graceful as I could ever imagine Mike Salk looking. And from that moment on, I knew this guy, one day, he's going to be a hockey coach.
Wow. So it goes all the way back then to when the hockey dreams really came alive. That, hey, I could be on the ice. I could be coaching. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Fascinating. All right, well, there's the insight. You can't get
double
anywhere
axles,
else.
triple axles, Lutzes, all that stuff.
Oh, so he's going to be a figure skater.
No.
Not a hockey guy.
I'm kidding.
He's either going to be Salk's either going to be a figure skater or a hockey coach. It's one or the other. So if he's not back on Monday, he's been hired by the Kraken. One more thing you need to know if you do care about the NHL playoffs or the NBA playoffs. Let's go in 7. Clippers and Nuggets. The Clippers forced a Game 7 last night. And then in the NHL, Edmonton beat the Kings 6-4 to win the series. Vegas eliminated Minnesota. And the Avs and Stars are headed to a Game 7 tomorrow night. You watch any of the hockey playoffs? Do you catch their fancy at all? Like, have they popped on? Like, when the Kraken were in it, did you watch it all?
No.
Okay.
I watch 2 sports. I watch the NFL and I watch golf.
That's fair. No, I appreciate
it. So
that.
every time we come on, I'm reminded of what else is going on in the sports world.
That's why it's what you need to know. So we'll find a way, Brady, one day, 1 year, to get you invested in the NHL playoffs.
Okay.
They are the best playoff system in sports. The drama, the intensity, they put the NBA playoffs to shame.
What separates it from NBA?
Because it's nonstop action and it's being played at the highest level. And because points are, they're back and forth in the NBA. You can score all the time. But goals in the playoffs are at such a premium that there is this fervor up and down the ice, and it's just unrelenting. So if you sit there and you watch, you could see the intensity of the hits, how guys finish hits, how every possession is being attacked down the ice, everything finishing at the net, and the goals. They're just, when one finally breaks through, you can feel it. You can feel that from the crowd or the other team. So it's incredible drama. We'll get you hooked one day. As different as you can get from golf.
Yeah.
Well, except when you're chasing down the back 9 of your first Masters. So I know you're probably riveted to your TV there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
That was dramatic. That was as compelling as it gets. I will be with you at that one. So that is everything you need to know. I think G is looming, and Brady.
I got a target on my back.
Brady Henderson has a target on his back. G
Maybe
is
on
coming
my face,
in hot,
if you will. A target on my face.
Brady with the teases. He's got a target on his face. G is going to come back and explain that and everything else that we'll get into. I don't even know where the conversation will go with him, but we'll come back with G. Scott here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. Is I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
The Puyallup RV Show, May 1st through 4th. 400 new and used RVs, plus manufactured homes. Over 1,000 floor plan options. It's your best chance to save all year. Browse the exhibits, chat with the experts, free parking. Tickets at PuyallupRVShow.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
I like my teacher because she helps me with my problems at school.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we got a crew in here. I told you they wouldn't be ready for it.
Yeah. They're ready.
No, I told you.
They weren't.
No,
they're not ready.
no, I told you they wouldn't be ready for it.
That's
G
my
is
bad.
throwing
That's my
things
bad.
off by
Sorry,
sitting
guys.
to my right. That's okay. It's all right. If you're not watching, it's all good. It all sounds normal. Mike Lefko, Brady Henderson, and G Scott in with us now.
Good morning.
G,
Yeah.
I'm worried for Brady because you came in, you saw him, and you just had some trouble with that.
First, I want to say good morning to all of my people at 8:30 on Fridays. I know there's only two of you all that listen. But I first need to ask, and you guys as well. But I need to ask Brady Henderson. First, let me say this before I ask. I just want to tell you, Brady, you do a fantastic job covering the Seahawks.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh,
you're
no.
You're the best there is. Right?
no.
I know it's coming.
Why are you building them up so much?
The second thing I want to ask, does your girlfriend listen right now during this time?
Yeah, I think she does. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But you can say
no. What's up with the mustache, man?
You don't like it?
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. There's this thing, Gray Zabel and Robbie Oots and all of these folks walking around with these Oh, I can't say that either. These types of stashes, you know what I mean? What's going on with it? What made you decide to grow it?
Yeah, it's my girlfriend suggested it, and I said, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I haven't done this in a few years. I don't have to. There's no reason I really can't do it. Like, I probably wouldn't, if I had to do TV, I would probably shave it or at least grow out the bottom part so it doesn't look like I'm being mustache guy who's trying to draw a bunch of attention to himself. But yeah, I thought, why not?
So you call it a flavor saver, right?
No, I think the flavor saver is the soul patch. Isn't that what that is?
I thought that was a mustache.
Yeah. No, I'm just, having some fun with it. Clearly, you don't like it. You would like to see it. You'd like to see me go to the bathroom right now and shave it.
The thing is I'm not used to seeing you like this. Like, I know that the only reason why you have that stash is because you have a girlfriend. The Brady Henderson that I used to know for years, the smooth Brady Henderson, you know, that Brady Henderson would not be walking around with a stash. Now, I'd bet you, Lefko, that people walking around with a stash like that got a woman.
It's a nice luxury to have.
Think so. I think that they are more, I think that they're more like, my girlfriend was explaining this to me, they're more in vogue now than, like, when I was growing up, if you had a mustache, they were so outdated that you were clearly trying to stand out. You're trying to draw attention. You're trying to, like, look retro, you know?
Yeah.
But now I think they are more they're more fashionable, I would say. They're sort of coming back.
Can we get some stash insight? The text line has started to weigh in. Let's get some more.
Ladies that listen to the show.
Ladies only, okay.
Ladies only, ladies, fellas too.
What about the man opinion? Yeah, we want everyone's opinion.
Everyone's opinion. Your thoughts on this whole cowboy stash that Brady is wearing, Gray Zabel's wearing, all these folks are wearing these days. You don't like, you're a clean-shaven man.
Well, this is all the scruff and the tiredness and waking up.
Would you do a mustache like that?
I don't think I could pull it off. So first of all, 866-979-3776. Mustache, yes or no?
I'm not sure I could pull it off.
I don't think I could actually grow a mustache that nice and thick. Like Brady, it's coming well. I mean, as much as you're going to hate on it, Brady, it's a prominent stash, and I don't think mine would look good.
Brady, you know what
I could do the beard, not the stash.
You remind me of
I'm
my
a little
dad.
jealous.
You remind me of my dad. Now, I don't know if the cameras can see this at all, but I'm going to zoom in.
I would say walk all the way up to that camera and just hold it right up to it. There we go. This is live radio video stream for you. So G's going to go all the way up there. There you go. Now you got to back it out a little bit. There you go. Yep, there it is. So if you're watching on the stream, you have the direct comparison. G's father
we can see it now.
And Brady. So I guess you guys look alike.
Yeah, you're like a dad, bro.
Oh, really?
Like a daddy. Yeah.
I'd say your dad's looked better than mine does. I've got to get some of those tinted glasses, though. That's when you really got the look going.
I'll say this. A beard over a stash every day of the week. Now, I'll leave it with that. Mara, your thoughts. Beard or stash?
Well, I told you I'm kind of biased, too, because my dad had a mustache growing up, so in my mind, that's always been like a dad.
So
thing.
Brady looks like a daddy, don't he?
My dad still has a mustache, so. But I think I'm biased because of that.
Mara, does Brady look like a dad?
We're getting a lot of input on this, by the way.
Loud, does Brady look like a dad?
I don't know.
it might. Hold on. I think what G's probably not liking is the glasses look also. That's
kind of
my
roll out of bed
it's
at
early
6
morning.
o'clock in the morning.
Right, so
look.
I'm going to excuse you for that because who looks their best at 6 a.m., you know? I'm not bullying. Okay, I just bullied him and taking him off. I'm sorry.
Fad to be done. But the thing is, Brady's a good-looking dude. I don't know if I can say that because of HR, but Brady's a good-looking dude. He can look good in anything.
We have a ton of texts coming in. Rich in Auburn has the theory.
What's that?
Rich says, sounds like G wishes he could pull off a mustache.
I got a picture of me with a when I was in military school. Yeah. All right.
All right, let's talk sports here. Enough about it.
We never talk sports in this segment. I've come to learn that.
All right, here we go. What we got with sports? You guys want to talk about?
Jalen Milroe. What do you think of Jalen Milroe?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good topic to start with. I was super excited at first because I was shocked. As we all know, John Schneider in drafting quarterbacks is not a thing that he does. Russell Wilson, Alex Magoo, and it's been crickets. You see what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, it's at the end of the day. It's the last pick in the third round, and I'm on stage at Mopop. We're hosting the Seahawks draft party, and I'm coming up with things that I'm going to say to end the day, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then that pick comes across, and it was like somebody slapped me in the face. Oh man, I wasn't ready. Now that I've had a chance to digest it, and I've had a chance to have discussions and conversations, Jalen Milroe is going to have to really come here and be developed, right? Strong arm, very athletic, no doubt about it. He has the tools. But to be the quarterback that the Seahawks and 12s and all of you would want him to be, he's going to have to come here and be developed. It is no different than when Russell Wilson first got here. Russell Wilson, he had some things. He could run. He could do those things. But if you guys remember, his first game was against the Arizona Cardinals, and I think Russell Wilson only had to throw the ball 11 times in the first game of his career. Right? So the developmental stage and how you progressed is going to be so important. Where you end up as a quarterback is very important. Ask Justin Fields if he could do it again. Would he want to get drafted to the Bears? No. Russell Wilson got drafted to a great situation, and he's probably maybe going to go into the Hall of Fame. My point is, back to Jalen Milroe, I think it's a great pick. It's almost like buying NVIDIA 3-4 years ago. It could be really good. So we will see. That's my Jalen Milroe. I don't want to get here and say, oh, my goodness, his pocket, his progression, and when you see him out there on the field, he's a developed passer and all that. I don't want to get there. I just want to say that there is a lot of upside to Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, that's the point I've tried to make there is that, I think we all need to be realistic about the development that he needs. He's not going to come in and challenge Sam Darnold for the starting job. That's just not going to happen. He needs too much development before you can even start talking about that. He may not even overtake Drew Lock for the number 2 job, just because the arm, the passing, again, not a matter of arm strength, but a matter of accuracy. That needs some work there. But in the meantime, as they try to develop him as a passer, you have this incredible explosive weapon, as John Schneider called it, who can really make a difference in a couple plays a game when he comes in. And he's not going to be he's Taysom Hill in a sense that you sort of have this guy who can come in and give you something different than what your starter has. He's not going to block. He's not going to be an H-back tight end like Taysom Hill is, but he is going to come in and he can run the zone read. He can run some design runs that take advantage of the 4.4 speed, and there's some power in those legs too. It's not just he's not just a track star out there. This guy can run with some power, and as they try to develop him as a passer, he can give them something different as a runner. For Mike McDonald made it clear Sam Darnold is going to play over 90% of the snaps. So you're talking about maybe a small handful of plays a game that he can come in and, as Mike McDonald has said, give opposing defensive coordinators headaches.
Mm-hmm. How do you think you feel, though, if you're Sam Darnold? Because so John Boyle had a really great piece up on Seahawks.com where he was embedded in the draft room, and he kind of did a live blog kind of chronicling every pick, going, minute by minute, essentially, all the key moments. And he noted that Mike McDonald stepped out of the room to call Darnold first before they took Milroe to say, hey, look, we're taking a quarterback here. Obviously, Brady just said that Darnold's going to get a ton of the snaps. McDonald reiterated that after the draft. But if you're Sam Darnold and you see this quarterback that everyone's all excited about,
right,
what do you think that does to him?
Well, I don't know Sam Darnold. Okay, so I don't want to
as a competitor.
As a competitor.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. So smart competitors want Jalen Milroe to come in because they know what a Jalen Milroe can do to opposing defenses. Smart competitors know that the Seahawks need to be better this year in the red zone. Smart competitors know that the Seahawks need to be better when it's 4th and 1, right? And you're being able to should we go for it? Should we go for it? And you have the confidence, Philadelphia Eagles, to be like, we're going forward. I don't know Sam Darnold, but I would guess that Sam Darnold now is going on year 7 in the league. Is it 7 or 8 in the league? Sam Darnold right now, you want to win. And how you want to win is adding other pieces to your team. You win a Super Bowl, nobody cares about all of who played this, if you played 85% or 90% of the snaps. I don't think that Sam Darnold sometimes, if it's 4th and 1, wants to and like I said, I don't know if they're going to be using these packages, right? But I'm sure if Sam Darnold wants to be successful, he wants for opposing teams, even if the Seahawks don't do it in that game, the opposing team is going to have to respect that. They're going to have to say, hey, we got to spend a little time on what if Jalen Milroe, if they get inside the 5-yard line and they put Jalen Milroe in the game. That little bit of time, let's 30-ish minutes play install that you have to get there and work for Jalen Milroe. I think Sam Darnold likes this pick the same way the Seahawks do.
Yeah, and preparing for it is one thing. Being able to stop it is another thing. And, I mean, the fact that Mike Macdonald felt the need to call Sam Darnold right before that pick, I think that tells you that, there is a chance that not Sam Darnold, but any quarterback who comes to a situation to be the starter is going to be a little bit antsy about the team spending a third-round pick. Look, if this was a fifth-round pick, different story. If this is a fourth-round pick, probably a different story. But when you draft a guy before the third day, when you draft a guy in the third round or earlier, the expectation is that eventually you think that guy could be a starter. So the fact that McDonald felt the need to call Sam Darnold to give him a heads up that this is happening, I think that is an indication that, this is an early enough pick to where a quarterback might get a little bit uneasy about his standing, especially knowing the way that Sam Darnold's contract is structured. The Seahawks could get out of that contract after 1 year if they really wanted to. That would take a number of things happening. That would take Sam Darnold really struggling. That would take one of their other quarterbacks popping. And again, Jalen Milroe has a lot of work to do in terms of developing as a passer before that becomes a reality. But, in the meantime, they got kind of an interesting weapon to use.
So everybody knows the context on this, and everybody remembers that's listening right now. You remember Matt Flynn, right? That whole thing happening, and then all of a sudden Matt Flynn is brought in, free agency, he gets the money, and then there's a third-round pick in Russell Wilson. So I'm going to bring you guys back to 2012, right? And so I'm outside. It's the day after the draft, after Russell Wilson gets drafted. I'm in the parking lot. As a BMAC, I'm cleaning cars, right? And I see, and Matt Flynn, I used to clean the cars in the player parking lot. Matt Flynn pulls in, and I'm thinking to myself, man, should I say something to him? Should I say something to him? And I'm like, yeah, I got to say something to him. Yeah, I got to say something to him. So I'm doing my thing. So Matt gets out of his truck, and he comes out. And I said, man, did you see that coming? Now, granted, if I had to do it over again, I just wouldn't have said nothing. This wasn't very smart for me to say. But Matt Flynn is cool. I'm like, man, did you see that coming? He was like, not at all. And I said, oh, really? He said, no, I can't believe it. Right? Then I was like, well, where were you? He says, I was at a bar with some buddies, and I just bought everybody around. I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah. And he just walked in. And I was thinking to myself, oh, man, well, all right, no big deal. It's not like, this Russell dude is going to be the starter. And then the preseason starts, and if you guys remember preseason during that time, Matt Flynn actually had a phenomenal preseason. Like, people don't remember this. Matt Flynn was on fire. As a matter of fact, his completion percentage was insane. The biggest incomplete pass that happens, go look it up, was Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens you guys remember that? He was right there in the end zone. Now, I'd argue, and I've said this, and I've had this conversation with former Seahawks players, and if T.O. catches that touchdown, the Seahawks have no choice but to start Matt Flynn.
You think so?
Yes. Yeah, and I've had conversations.
It's preseason, though. That sways everything.
Matt Flynn was on fire. Now, Russell did well, too. Don't get me wrong. Russell did well, no doubt. Yeah. But, I mean, that pass to T.O., and if you guys get a chance, get on YouTube. The youngsters will show you how to do it. When you get on there, look at that pass and look at him drop that.
It was a deep ball, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If he catches that ball, I don't think Russell Wilson starts game one against Arizona. He drops that ball. Russell Wilson starts game one against Arizona, and then the rest is history. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to bore you guys.
I thought we were about to get a mic drop with that.
Wow. I don't know, man.
That was quite a theory.
Yesterday.
You know what's funny? Isn't it funny how, like, the third round is sort of that, like, point of delineation where, if Russell Wilson had been drafted in the 4th round, do you think Matt Flynn's reaction would have been different? Like, the 4th round pick, that's a mid-round pick. Like,
it would have been different.
Yeah,
now,
but third round, that's when it's like, okay, when your team drafts a guy in the 3rd round, the expectation is that eventually they're going to be a starter, as it turns out with Russell Wilson. He was a starter right away.
So, anyways, as far as the picks, let's do this. The Seahawks, obviously, they had 11 picks, 9 of them on offense. I mean, telling the world that they want to address the offense. Which pick was your favorite? You can only pick one.
Start with Brady or start with me? Brady?
Go ahead. No. The floor is yours.
We'll work our way over there. My favorite pick, because it signaled the Seahawks really liked this guy. They went all the way up to get him, traded 17 spots up to get him, Nick Emanwori. And there were some concerns, well, at least maybe internal questions on draft day. We all thought, all right, well, why does a projected first-round talent go to the 2nd round? Why did he fall out of that round? But after hearing Daniel Jeremiah, I was more convinced than ever that it was not anything with Emanwori. It was not anything wrong with him. DJ said, well, you don't agree. So I'll get your thought on that. No, I still like the pick, though, even if there's some things that maybe you don't like about him. But DJ said that it's just because safety has been devalued a little bit with, inside linebacker, safety. It's not a pick that has 1st round on it if there are other guys out there. So Emanwori, a guy that had been widely projected in the 1st round, who has all these freakish athletic traits, the fact that the Seahawks identified that and said, you know what? We feel so strongly about this. We're trading 17 spots up. That's what gets me excited.
Yeah, and there was I think part of that, the reason he fell to 35 was there was another pretty good safety who went ahead of him, Malachi Starks.
To the Ravens.
Yeah, from Georgia, who went, I think, 28 to Baltimore. Starks is not as explosive as an athlete as Emanwori is, but a little bit more experienced, probably a little bit more polished, maybe better instincts. And so, yeah, if not for Malachi Starks, you might have seen Emanwori go late in the 1st round. But that was a player, and John Schneider said this, they even considered moving back into the 1st round to get him. So they obviously would have been comfortable taking him earlier than they did.
Well, I want to know, before we get back to you, I want to know that look. That was a visceral look there.
No, it was one of those looks that I couldn't control my emotions. Now, let me just say this. Y'all play craps. And then y'all play craps. If you're listening right now on the show, do you guys play craps? Well, sometimes at the crap table, you know what I'm saying, you blow on the dice. You feel me? And John Schneider and Mike McDonald, when they were in the 1st round and they saw Nick Emanwori not go in the 1st round, they was sitting here, before they got to their 18th pick, they was blowing on the dice, baby. They was blowing on the dice. And John, let them things go, baby. You know what I'm saying? And he let them things go. And he said, look, I bet you, I wasn't in the war room. People keep asking me, have I ever been in a war room? Listen, not only have I never been in a war room, I don't even know where the war room is inside the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. I've been everywhere inside of that thing.
You're not supposed to. It's a secret.
Yeah, whatever. Now, back to this whole pick. So I know the Seahawks are like, wait a minute. This Nick dude is not going in the 1st round? Nobody's touching him? Okay, we're going to roll the dice. We're going to pick up Buddy Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, address the offensive line, bring a dog in here because Steve Hutchinson likes this dude, signed off on him. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay back, we're going to chill in the cut. And in the 2nd round, on day 2, we're going to make a move and go get my boy. You know what they did? They did a Russell Okung, Earl Thomas in 2010 all over again. Nick is the best pick in this draft, hands down. 4.328. 4.38 40. 43-inch vert. 6'3", 220.
See, here I thought you didn't like the pick. The way you reacted. This was praise then. Okay, you loved it so much. You just didn't like that I took your answer.
No.
I like that we're in agreement.
No. What I'm saying is the look that you saw from me is, look, a talent like that, sometimes you got people like, what's going on? Why would he drop like that? And you said Daniel Jeremiah talk about the value of safeties. Let me tell you something. Nick is a can't miss. He can't miss. The Seahawks, that's the one. That is the pick. And I know it was a good pick because I had phone calls come from me saying, ooh, John really in his bag right now. Literally. And said John is a monster right now. Great pick.
Well, and it sounds like they're going to play him closer to the line of scrimmage, where he may not come in and overtake Kobe Bryant for the starting job right away, but they're going to play him quite a bit, and it sounds like they're going to play him closer to the line of scrimmage, which that makes me wonder. Okay, can he do a little bit of the Jamal Adams? Can he be a blitzer? And if you start getting a few sacks, he doesn't have to get 9.5 sacks like Jamal Adams did one year, but if you can start adding some value as a blitzer, now okay, you're no longer a traditional safety, and the whole idea of like that positional value that goes out the window, because now you're more of like you're more of a linebacker, really.
I want to say this, but I don't want to come off, because I don't want anybody to listen to what I'm going to say and take it as disrespect towards Julian Love or disrespect towards Kobe Bryant. Okay, I don't want you guys to take it that way. But what I am saying is this: as a receiver in the slot, right, and you're getting ready to run that dig route, when you're getting ready to run that slant, I promise you, that route that you are pre-snap, the way that you're thinking in your mind, is a lot different with Nick Rory on the field than the others. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing to do with skill. There was a big difference when Cam Chancellor is down in the box and you are pre-snap thinking about the route that you got to run. And I promise you, it's in your mind right there.
If you've got to go over the middle, you mean?
What?
Yeah.
What?
You better be rocking a mustache then.
Ask Vernon,
better be ready.
Ask the Niners, ask Vernon Davis and all of them about what happens when that man was on the field. You are thinking differently about your routes. This dude is hands down the best pick in the draft.
Well, we start with mustache insight. We end with that definitive statement. G, always entertaining. Thanks for the insight there.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, always fun. Brady, I guess you're leaving too. Everyone's leaving me. All right. Brady's leaving. G's leaving. You gonna go on his show now?
Wait.
Brady's going on your show, actually.
But you said it. You said it like ladies be leaving. Do ladies be leaving you too?
No, everyone in this room is leaving
But
me.
I'm asking you, do ladies be leaving you too?
No.
Okay.
Not for public knowledge, they don't.
Oh, okay.
We'll get into that next time.
Okay, cool.
Brock is always interested in my dating life, so when he's back next time, if he's ever back again on a Friday, you're back in here, I'm back in here, we'll talk about that.
All right.
I made a promise to him. All right, we'll do that. Brady, thank you. G, thanks. We'll come back. More Seahawks discussion coming up. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
Super blessed, super grateful, but I feel like I should have gone a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like I kind of had like an NFL, it's personal list, so like that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Do you have a car sitting around collecting dust? Well, turn that car into cash at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your vehicle today, pay you right up front, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. I'm here with my friend Mark Clymer from Wayscar Ford in Auburn. So, Mark, it's been a few years since you started offering this. How's it going? And how much money have you given back to your customers that sold their cars to Wayscar Ford under this program?
It's going great, Stacy. As a matter of fact, we've given back over $750,000 to the customers that have sold their cars to us on our vehicle profit sharing program.
Wow, that's fantastic. Why do you think it's working so well?
Let's face it, it's Thunderdome out there with all the auto theft, the identity theft, and the other scams going on today. Less and less people are comfortable trying to sell their car themselves. So we offer them a way to get a lot more money for their car without having to go through all the hassle of trying to sell it themselves.
And it's only at Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. WayscarFord.com.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Roger. Roger, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
Over the last several years, my homeowner's insurance policies just kept on going up and up and up. For years, it was $1,100. Last year, it was $2,500. And this year, $5,000. That's what got me to call First Mark Insurance.
Were they able to save you any money?
Absolutely. Within a couple of days, came up with a proposal that blew my socks off. It was an amazing amount of reduction in cost.
Did they improve your coverage while saving you all that money?
They did both. The coverage is better and the cost is substantially less. It's half as much as I was paying last year. Recommend First Mark to anyone who is looking to get better coverage at less cost.
Well, Roger did it, my family did it, and you got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge and see how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, always entertaining when G stops by. Certainly when you have the combo of G and Brady, and then Brady comes in wearing a mustache. Poor Brady. Although the text line rallied to his defense. A lot of texts coming in favor of the mustache. So, some splits. Mustache, no. A lot of people liked it, but yeah. Thanks to G, thanks to Brady. Stacy will join us at 9:30, but first, we got to play a little Whose Shoes. So Lyle, Maura, myself are here. So we can go. I guess all of us will chime in. There's no one else in this room. They've all ditched me, guys. So I'll need you. I'll need your help as well on this. But yeah, let's get going with some Whose Shoes. And Maura, I do know you can't win this game. So with that being said, I know
come to terms with
that.
I
can't win. I'm just going to have fun and let it ride.
Okay. Yeah, it's just it's a fun way to see how you look at things. So first one I have here is Mike Tomlin or Kevin Stefanski's. I feel like the Steelers don't have enough quarterbacks, and the Browns have too many, but maybe not one that they love. Whose shoes would you rather be in?
Lyle, I will let you take this one if you want. I'll let you start. You guys have worked hard back there behind the glass, so you can take it. You can go first in this one.
At the current moment, I would say Mike Tomlin, because I do not want to have to deal with the whole Shedeur Sanders fiasco.
But you might have to deal with Aaron Rodgers.
And that's exactly what I was going to get to. If we get to the point where Aaron Rodgers ends up a Steeler, I'm out, and I'm going to Stefanski.
Really? Okay, so I would say, and I'm going to go Tomlin as well, I'm going to say because Mike Tomlin dealt with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. What's another crazy person in there? Yeah, Russell Wilson. No, I mean, that's nothing compared to Le'Veon Bell and then Antonio Brown at the height of AB starting to get peak crazy. So Aaron Rodgers, it would just be kind of an annoyance at this point. I just think regardless of who's there for the Steelers, that chaos in the Browns quarterback room is just unworkable. I don't know how you deal with that, not even mentioning the looming distraction of Deshaun Watson. He's not going to be actually in the room, but he's still there. He still has a presence.
His contract's
looming.
Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders.
The worst array of, the worst cast party ever, the worst group you could ever assemble. The anti-Avengers of quarterbacks there.
Who's starting day one?
So now that's a fascinating question because the pressure and the public outcry is going to be for Shedeur. Mm-hmm. Because everyone has rallied to his side now. He fell all the way down. He has this very public prank phone call, that bad look there. So he's going to have the sympathy. And I just feel like with what Deion brings and that kind of circus that a lot of teams wanted to avoid, I'm sure behind the scenes, Deion's going to be pushing for his son to start. I wouldn't be surprised if a few weeks into the season, Shedeur's starting. I mean, do you have a better option there? You don't have a better option. Kenny Pickett, that's not very encouraging. Dylan Gabriel, maybe builds into something, but he's a third-round pick.
Flacco looked good for a few games for the Colts.
Wait, Flacco. Forgot about Flacco. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Mike Tomlin. I would absolutely take Mike Tomlin in his shoes there.
All right, I'm interested in this one because I know Lefko's a Titans fan. Jackson Dart or Cam Ward? Whose shoes?
Well, you can't ask me that more. That's not fair. Because I'm going to go to the negative.
I can and I will.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say, yes, Cam Ward. I want to be in his shoes because he's going to be given every opportunity to thrive, and he's going to be given every resource that the Titans can possibly give him. He'll have the chances. He's a number 1 overall pick. So for the life of his contract, he'll be the guy. But the Titans are terrible. They have no good players. They have a terrible offensive line. I feel so bad for anyone who has to go stand in there. They have no receivers. They have no offensive line, and they have a somewhat decent running back. But I don't feel good if I'm Cam Ward, but I'd rather be in his shoes because you're going to get more opportunities to succeed. And that's my Titans negativity for you.
And you get a lot more money if you're Cam Ward,
and you get a lot more money, yes. And you get a lot more money. So absolutely.
Oh, look at
Cam
Lyle.
Ward. There you go. Okay.
So are you going Cam Ward too?
I am, because he's going to start day one, although I will say to Lefko's point, the one thing Jackson Dart will have going for him, not to say the Giants are in some great spot right now, but once he gets in there, he is going to have a number 1 receiver already in his back pocket with Malik Neighbors, where Cam Ward doesn't really have that.
The Giants had a pretty good draft. I honestly think I'd rather sit for a season with a team that looks like maybe they're pulling it together a little bit than start for a season with a team that's really bad off.
Okay. I will say
start first thing.
From pure entertainment standpoint, yeah, Jackson Dart, because that quarterback room, speaking of quarterback rooms, with Jameis and with Russell Wilson.
Yeah. And DeVito right now.
2 wildly different personalities. Oh, yeah, and Danny DeVito. It's not Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito. Throw Danny DeVito in there. Why not? So, yeah, I'm going to go Cam Ward because from a playing perspective, and as Lyle said, monetary standpoint, he's got it better. But entertainment, I want to be around Jameis Winston every day. Okay. Sheer comedy.
Money's gotta be the shoes. Shoes. You sure it's not the shoes?
I'm sure, Mars.
What about the shoes?
No, Mars.
Money's gotta be the shoes.
Favorite thing to play.
That was very unexpected. I think you could see me if you're watching Jump in my chair.
Sorry, thought that was the shorter version.
It woke me up. It was good.
All right, whose shoes? Salk, who is currently at his college reunion in Pomona, or Brock in Montana participating in his daughter's wedding planning?
So, do you want this, Lyle? I'll cede the floor to you if you want to go first. Or you want me to go first?
You sound like you want to take it, so go ahead.
Well, I don't know why, and this is all said out of respect and love, but I feel like being at Salk's college reunion would be terrible. It gets a sense of like a lot of, maybe slightly elitist people saying, No, look at us. We don't like college sports.
Oh, have you been listening to our Here's the Thing segment?
Yes.
Someone sends in a message.
I'm Mike Salk. I love my fancy bananas. That's what I picture. I don't know why. That's probably not fair, but yeah. Maura, you brought up a good point. That swayed me.
Well, yeah,
So-
Brock said there was a lot of food tasting
Yes.
and drink tasting involved
That
in his daughter's wedding.
food tasting-
Because, I think his wife's doing the heavy lifting of, like, picking flowers and things like
Yeah,
that.
let's be honest. Do we trust Brock to pick out a floral
He's
arrangement? No.
colorblind.
Yeah, that's a good point, yes. So Brock gets to sit there and do the easy thing. Like when I saw him at the Mariners game a couple days ago, stuffing his face with shrimp tacos. He gets to just sit and eat and test out cakes and test out food and, a featured drink.
Signature cocktails,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So far and away, Brock's shoes.
I would agree.
Lyle? It's not your college buddies. It's Salk's college buddies.
I know.
Yeah.
See, originally I was going to lean with Brock because I feel like there's a little part of Salk here that has a feel or a need to impress people at his reunion. And I don't know if I'd want to have that pressure for a whole weekend. But at the same time, I feel like if Brock's going to do all this food and drink tasting all weekend, we're also going to hear next week how he's not going to eat for 2 days straight. So I don't really want to do that. I don't want to go on some crazy fast.
He punishes himself.
Wow, okay. Huh.
Well, you're really thinking it through.
Yeah, you twisted that so far beyond just the immediacy. But yeah, that's looking long term. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, but don't you think that Salk is probably eating and drinking a lot as well? And
Yeah,
then
they
you'll hear
both-
about that.
they both
You'll hear about that next week.
are gonna be
Yeah.
punishing themselves.
And then Salk will go on another diet. Then you'll have to hear about that. So it's a no. That might be the no win. No shoes. Go barefoot.
But Brock's been into this fasting with, like, not eating for 72 hours thing lately, which is a little extreme.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Well, I think we ran out of shoes. Sorry, we didn't get to all of them there. I was so intrigued by that Salk or Brock one. And I'm going with Brock there. I'm going with the food. We have a lot more outside of just whose shoes you'd rather wear. We have a lot more you need to know about Seahawks rookie minicamp and about the big Mariners series against the Rangers. Plus, Stacy Rost will join us at 9:30. And then we will put the wraps on this show and the week. So a lot coming up here in the 9 o'clock hour. Mike Lefko in here with you with Lyle and Maura here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
Super blessed, super grateful, but yeah, I feel like I should have gone a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like I kind of had like an NFL, it's personal list, so like that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car?
You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly at swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, it's been the Mariners' offense. It's been putting up some robust numbers all across the board. They lead Major League Baseball in walks. They have the third best on-base percentage as a team. They are in the top 5 in stolen bases, 37 stolen bases. That's the 4th best in baseball, right behind the Red Sox for the 2nd best in the American League. So all these offensive numbers paying off well. Also 4th most home runs with 45 this year. And it's something that John Morosi is kind of hanging his hat on to say, well, yeah, this is in a Mariners offense that you can kind of believe in at least through 1 month of the season.
The offensive approach, I believe, has been better. And even if you improve your efficiency or effectiveness in 2-strike counts or by running the bases, going first to third more often by 5 to 10%, that's going to make a hugely meaningful impact on the standings. I think we're seeing that so far. And I think all things considered, think about all the years we've gone back and had conversations. This is about as good as I have felt about a Mariner team at the end of April that I can recall in the last several years.
Which is also wild to think about because the lineup specifically dealing with a plethora of injuries. Victor Robles got hurt at the start of this month during that Giants series. Ryan Bliss shortly thereafter. He's likely out for the season. And then just in the past couple of days, Dylan Moore placed on the 10-day IL, and Luke Raley, we heard from Justin Hollander a couple days ago that he's going to be shut down for 6 weeks with a grade 1 oblique strain, and then they're going to figure out what's going on and see when Luke Raley can swing a bat, go on a rehab assignment, and come back and join the Mariners. So 6 weeks before he resumes any activity, and then further on from that point. So the fact that the lineup is doing all this, thoroughly impressive. Rylan Thomas was called up in place of Raley. If and when he makes his debut, he'll be the 39th different player the Mariners have used this season. That would tie the Braves for the most in baseball. Game 1 of the series starts tonight against the Rangers. 5:05 first pitch, 4 o'clock pregame right here on Seattle Sports. Brian Wu gets the start for the M's. Jack Leiter gets it for the Rangers.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
The Seahawks are on the field in just a couple hours, actually, for rookie mini camp this weekend. It starts with a practice with, as we heard Brady Henderson say that John Schneider mentioned yesterday, 72 guys will be out there, from the rookies, their undrafted free agents, a couple of other players as well, fill out all those practice fields out there at the VMAC. The big story at the rookie class, though, jersey numbers got assigned over the past couple of days, and Nick Emanwari, he told Lyman and Bob on Monday he was already kind of thinking about what number would fit him.
It's been a little bit of discussion, but I'm still kind of like trying to figure that out. I know a lot of single-digit numbers are taken in Seattle. There's a couple free. There's a couple numbers in like the 20s. There's a number in the 30s. But still in discussion about that. So when I get up here Thursday, I'll figure out what number I'm probably going to rock. I got to, see it on my body. My body got to accept the number.
Gotta love that mindset. The body must have accepted number 3, because that's which one that Emanwari is going with. And it's the first guy since Russell Wilson to wear it in a game. We had to kind of dive in and get the clarification. So Artie Burns had been assigned that number in 2023. He ultimately changed back to number 23 before appearing in a game. So number 3 has been untouched since Russell Wilson left. And Emanwari will become the first defensive player ever to wear number 3 for the Seahawks. Some more numbers to throw out there. Gray Zabel, following in the footsteps of Steve Hutchinson. He got his permission and his blessing to wear number 76. Then Jalen Milroe claimed the only other single-digit number available, number 6. And you guys were telling me that, is it both? That both Brock and Salk do not like that, or just Salk does not like number
Salk's
6?
A little more passionate about it. Brock was agreeing, though.
So a single-digit number. I do not understand that. We've had a lot of number discussion. I don't get that one. We'll have to get them on their own show and ask them about it. I'll have to hop in here one day when they're back, and I'm really curious to know why number 6 doesn't really fit. Like, I understand 98. Lyle was mentioning Devin Gardner in college. He brought up that 98. Yeah, I could see that. You didn't mind it, Lyle. I would say that's my one sticking point. 98, not a quarterback number, but you know what? If it looks good and the guy plays well, it doesn't matter as much. I will say, though, 98, maybe not so much. 6, I'm fine with, but I guess not a popular opinion on this morning show.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Not good news for the Angels. They continue to just free fall. They are in a absolute plummet down to the bottom of the division. They're putting Mike Trout on the IL with a bone bruise. He left the game against the Mariners after the 3rd inning. Sounded like he might be okay. At least that's what he told reporters after that game. But then he didn't play yesterday, and the Angels lost to the Tigers, where they had a 4-2 lead going into the 8th. Gave up 8 runs in the final 2 innings. Trout didn't play, then officially placed on the IL with a bone bruise. Reed Detmers, who the Mariners had a lot of success against, gave up 4 runs in a third of an inning, and the Tigers stormed back to win 10-4. So the Angels continued to just kind of plummet. Rangers have really fallen off as well. Interestingly enough, the Rangers were shut out against the A's. They've scored 2 runs or fewer in 9 of their last 13 games. They dropped 3 of 4 against the A's. So it's the A's, who we can't even give them a real name. They don't have a city that they want to claim as a name. It's the nameless A's who have slipped ahead of the Rangers in the division. So they're in 3rd in the AL West, and it's the Rangers that have been kind of falling as well. One team that is hot, the Royals, they've won 9 of their last 10. Bobby Witt Jr. extended his hit streak to 22 straight games. Had a go-ahead 2-run homer to help the Royals beat the Rays 8-2. And recently fired Penguins coach Mike Sullivan has been hired as the next coach of the Rangers. So a number of guys who have left their teams. Rick Tosche, I know, has been thrown out there as well as potential fits for the Kraken. Won't be Mike Sullivan, who was hired by the Rangers, but it's going to be an interesting hire for the Kraken when they do make another head coaching decision, because obviously they'll have their third in 3 years after going through Dave Haxtell and Dan Bylsma, and now a to-be-determined decision for the new regime kind of there for the Kraken leadership when they make that coaching hire. But it won't be Mike Sullivan. And some NHL and NBA playoff updates. Edmonton beat the Kings 6-4 to win their series. Vegas eliminated Minnesota last night. And the Avs and Stars are headed to a Game 7 tomorrow night. In the NBA, the Clippers even up their series against the Nuggets. They won Game 6, so that one heading to 7 as well. And that's pretty much everything you need to know. Yeah, rookie minicamp starts this afternoon. Maura, you're going to be out there, right? Who are you excited to see? Who are you most excited to see out there?
Oh, man. I mean, I feel like after the draft, the one that I knew the least about of their top picks was probably Elijah Arroyo, but that's the guy that so many of the people we've been talking to have been buzzing about. So I'm excited to see him. Obviously, want to see what Jalen Milroe looks like. And then, yeah, maybe some of these undrafted guys.
All right. Yeah. So we're curious to get your thoughts. Maura will be out there today. Brady, who we know was just in here, he'll be out there as well. So I'm sure they'll all chime in on Monday when Brock and Salk are back, and you'll hear all of their observations from rookie minicamp. And then it's starting soon. All these OTAs, everyone will be back here. Training camp's right around the corner in a couple months. The endless NFL offseason. It never ends. It's the calendar keeps going and going, which is a great thing. The schedule release coming up in a couple of weeks, May 14th. Wednesday, May 14th, the NFL schedule gets released. So I guess mark your calendar for the calendar reveal. It is wild and remarkable how the NFL has turned everything into an event. Like the draft, all right, it's just calling off names. No, it's a huge deal. The schedule release, they have a 1-hour TV special. Everyone goes nuts. These teams put out these special schedule release videos, and it's become kind of a hallmark day on the NFL calendar. So that's coming up really on Wednesday. Chargers always bring it. The Titans, the only thing they win is a schedule release. You know, they just go to Broadway and they interview people, and they have the terrible logos. They have no idea what these nicknames are. Yeah, that's always fun. So we will get to all that. But coming up next, Stacy Rost will join us here to talk about everything, pretty much. The draft, the Mariners. She did a nice article about Jalen Milroe, so we'll dig into all of that as well. Mike Lefko here with you on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Nicky Manwari's been compared to Cam Chancellor, but have you heard another one that you think may be a better fit?
He's a mix between Cam Chancellor and a Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is a bit better when it comes to covering, and Cam Chancellor was just that pit bull roaming the block, ready to fight anybody who goes across the middle of the field. He has a little bit of both in him.
4 down territory every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Local real estate agent seeking financing for a client. We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Did you know that your windows and doors are your main source of energy loss? At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, our windows with triple weather shipping and gasket seals are up to 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards. LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement. and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The Puyallup RV Show, May 1st through 4th. 400 new and used RVs, plus manufactured homes. Over 1,000 floor plan options. It's your best chance to save all year. Browse the exhibits, chat with the experts, free parking. Tickets at PuyallupRVShow.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, it's me, second base at T-Mobile Park. In my view, it's pretty sweet. I can see the big dumper flashing his platinum glove, firing a perfect throw right at me. Here comes the tag. Oh, got him.
Another strike him out, throw him out for Cal Raleigh.
Then there's Julio, stomping on me on his way to a stand-up triple. That dude is unreal.
Swinging a line drive, Julio round to third with a 2-out, 3-run triple.
And JP, smooth as silk, snaring line drives out of thin air.
And he takes a hit away.
Come check it out for yourself. There's nothing like being this close to the action. Although I'm still waiting to get invited to the wind dance. A base can dream. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Don't miss the next Mariners homestand featuring a special Mother's Day weekend series May 9th through 11th and a marquee matchup against the Yankees May 12th through 14th. Then the fun picks up again with a 3-day Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway May 27th through 29th. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Get ready, because Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and P.O.D. this summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. Go to snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's been a really fun Friday so far, and it continues now with Stacy Rost.
Can you look at us in the monitor right now? It looks like you're interviewing someone who lives in a thimble. Like I flew in my little tiny...
You look like you were photoshopped, kind of downsized, like to put on someone's shoulder or something, like the little moose giveaways they had at the Mariners.
I was the plushy moose.
You're the plushy Stacy to give on someone's shoulder.
Who was sitting here?
Brady.
Oh, this is my problem with Brady Henderson.
Oh, he goes
he's
real
too
low?
tall.
Yeah. He's going real low. Yeah, people didn't like the mustache for Brady.
Oh,
People
they
didn't
don't?
like the low.
I think the mustache is a great look for Brady.
Okay.
He looks very like Curtis and I were making fun of him and to his face. It was okay. It was to his face.
Right.
And we were like, you look like you're about to break a huge story for the Boston Globe and it's like 1995. You know what I mean? Like you look like you're like, we've been sitting on this for a year and we're going to expose everyone.
Like pacing around with a
Very
reporter notebook.
old school reporter.
Like, how do we get this?
Yeah, he's got like a pencil behind his
across
ear
the
and
finish
like
line.
his
Yep.
fifth cup of coffee and he's like midnight and he's like, you know, I'm just a a ball rider.
Yeah,
I think it's a
actually,
great look for Brady.
You're
It looks
right.
great.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Mustaches are very in. Gray Zabel has a mustache.
Yeah, so that was the
yeah.
text line. A lot of positive feedback. It was G. And
Mustaches
people thought
are
G was
back.
just jealous. So.
Because why would G be? Doesn't
They were
G
like,
have
well,
facial
G,
hair?
you can't grow a mustache like Brady.
But G has
Yeah,
facial
he's
hair.
got a beard. And it's
I
all
think G
across
doesn't
it.
want a mustache.
Right.
G said beard is the answer every
Yes.
time.
Okay, so
But mustaches are back, is what you're saying.
So I think that mustaches are back. And again, I don't know that it's everyone's preference in terms of what they would like want in like the person they're dating. I do think it works for some people. Like it really, really works for them. But something about Gen Z, Kyle or Lyle can really speak to this. Gen Zs love non-ironic mustaches and mullets.
The very non-mustache Lyle.
Like it's
Please
big
weigh
time,
in.
right, Lyle? Lyle, you're our only representative. You need to
Okay,
speak
I'll
to
go with
this.
yeah.
We don't know anyone else.
Lyle, help us out here.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, I'll go with yeah.
Okay, great.
There you go. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Good job.
You're telling me, you look how many, like, look at Paul Skeens. Like, young people love unironic mustaches.
All right, that's fair. That's a good
Interesting.
point.
Yeah, there are a ton of mustaches with, like, young athletes and young players right now.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that's.
Bryce Miller kind of have?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
And that's what I'm telling you. Like,
Cal did
mustaches.
it last year for a minute.
Let me tell you
Wow,
what,
you're right, you're
mustaches
right.
sent a very different vibe when I was
Logan?
younger, and it's one that you'd want to stay away from.
Well, when we all were younger. So
When
now
we
you're,
all were
yeah,
younger,
you're making
yeah.
me go back to like, oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
You don't have to make yourself sound so old. You're only a year older than me.
I know. I'm feeling old today, Stacey.
Please
I didn't get
stop.
the mustache thing at all, so
Yeah.
now it's making sense though.
Maybe you should grow a mustache, can you?
Ooh, no, I don't think so.
That's okay. That's
so
I can't
kinda,
either.
I'm glad.
Yeah. We'll give it time. Let me hit
right.
my 50s
well,
and
let me,
we'll see what
we'll
happens.
try it maybe. Go
Yeah.
a month, see where it goes. Maybe
Mhm.
just go straight out.
You
We'll
should
see.
try
I
it
don't
and just
know.
see what happens.
Curls up,
Yeah.
handlebar style. All right. Give me something to ponder. Something to work on over the weekend.
Just think
Come
about
back
it.
on Monday and all of a sudden it's just fully bushy and it's there.
I think Lefko would look like a cop.
Oh, absolutely. Left go. That's actually
Yeah.
that's. Here's the thing. You can go cop very easily with a mustache. Look at Aiden O'Connell. Like Bump just calls him Officer O'Connell.
So I have a Halloween costume then. All right, good. I'll
Yeah.
start planning for Halloween. Perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you guys for the idea. We have our mustache discussion.
Well, you're just gonna be a cop for Halloween.
Yeah, sure. I'll be the cop from Super Troopers. It's a great movie.
Okay,
You
it
know,
is.
that outfit and
Yeah.
it's good to go.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You got the sunglasses, get the mustache ready. So, yeah. Along these lines of a very serious topic.
Oh no.
So, numbers have been
Yeah.
getting a lot of discussion. It's been a heated topic,
Okay.
which I didn't realize that certain jersey numbers have become so heated.
Oh, I always do a heavy eye roll, but Bump and Curtis get really fired up about
Okay,
this.
see, because Brock and Salk got very into it, so you don't care as much.
I don't. No.
Now, are there any that just look weird or jarring to you? Like if a certain position wore a certain number?
It would be. I do co-sign Bump's theory of you cannot be too big or too small with a single-digit number.
Interesting.
So if you have a single-digit number, you can't be really undersized or really big.
Because it would look kind of tiny.
It just looks
on a
dumb
big
either
guy
way.
or
Like
else-
yeah. And likewise, there are certain numbers that like wide receivers just like, oh, you don't want that number. You don't want to be that number. But then it's hard because I know some people don't like the 80s, but I can think of lots of great receivers who are 80s. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the 80s. I don't know. I feel like anything in the 60s just doesn't really jump out to me. And then we were discussing.
Oh, you hate centers. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah, and odd numbers. You know, when it ends in like a 67.
Oh, so you have OCD. That's why.
Yeah, there we go. All right,
Yeah.
you're solving all my problems
Yeah,
today.
I'm
All of
figuring everything
all of my
out.
queries, all of my interests here that I haven't been able to figure out why. You got the mustache discussion, you got the numbers. So thank you for
You're
all
welcome.
that.
That's why I'm here.
Let's get into some things that maybe are stuff that you can actually help out with beyond just the surface level mustache and numbers, which very important. Obviously, but you guys have spent a lot of time talking about the draft. We all have. It's the big story, and it's mini camp this weekend. Is there someone that, maybe not just the most exciting or stable pick, but the most curious you are about this new class? Is there a draft pick that you're like, well, okay, we know Gray Zabel was the first pick. We know that's probably going to be a good pick. But out of the totality of this draft class, is there someone you're most curious in seeing?
Yes, and it's kind of a cop-out answer because this was not a late pick. It was a day 2 pick, but Elijah Arroyo, the tight end that they got, I was not like... Initially, I liked the idea of taking a tight end. A lot of people wanted a wide receiver there, and I can completely understand why. It was and is an area of need because the 2 free agent guys that you brought in, obviously with MBS and Cooper Kupp, are both in their 30s. I don't know that either are producing a ton this year or even here next year. So even though you have bodies in the room, you had a massive question mark entering the draft, and every single Seahawks fan knew that. Like, I saw so many people going, oh, what about Kyle Williams? Like, there's so many other receivers you can take. But this has also been a tight end room that for many, many, many seasons has kind of underproduced while also getting some pretty competitive contracts. Like Will Dissly was paid pretty handsomely. And get your money, Will Dissly. You know what I mean? By no means will you find me being like, you should take less. Likewise, Noah Fant has a pretty competitive contract right now, and they haven't gotten a ton of production from tight ends. Not since, and I know everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people didn't love his tenure here, but Jimmy Graham was by far the most productive tight end they've ever had in only 3 seasons.
I had to tell them that you and Curtis, you've been long on the Jimmy Graham train.
Well, we do it mostly as
a
I don't know
bit
that any
now,
of us
right?
are like massive Jimmy Graham fans. I mean, I'm indifferent. He seems like a cool person. But it's more of, I think people say, oh my God, he sucks. I hated him here. He's the worst. And you're like, he's got the most yards and touchdowns by any Seahawks tight end ever, and it's not particularly close. And the problem that people had with Jimmy Graham is like, well, your offensive line then went to what after you acquired him via trade. And it's like, well, then that's on the front office. That's not Jimmy Graham. Like, yeah, you knew he wasn't a great blocker. He had only been a tight end for 1 year at Miami. What did you think? No, John Schneider brought him here because he wanted this really dynamic red zone target, and they didn't figure out how to do that with him until his final season here when he had like 10 touchdowns. But by then it was kind of too late. Like you weren't as competitive as you could have been in 2015. So I don't know. I digress. I thought that tight end was an under the radar area of need. I just didn't know a lot about Elijah other than he had some injury concerns. But we've talked with Rob Staten. Obviously, Bump is on the show, right? And both were really, really high on Elijah Arroyo. And then we heard John Schneider say, this is a guy that, like, we had way up on our draft board. Like, he would have gone so much higher were it not for these injury questions. So even though injury questions are a red flag that can and should kind of stay in the room, you know what I mean? Because you want to see that someone can prove them wrong. The idea of addressing both concerns with your tight end room and also maybe a great down the field threat with Elijah Arroyo is interesting.
Stacey, I don't know if there's a quick answer to this, but I don't want to keep you too long because you have an actual show. You have an actual show to start prepping for.
5.
Okay, Jalen Milroe then. 3 seconds. No. But you wrote an article about Jalen Milroe, and you kind of put in some viewpoints that you guys heard from Mike Rodak, a guy you had on who covers him. Was there anything you learned that kind of surprised you or that you didn't really know, or has your opinion changed about the draft pick in this week now and talking about it?
I don't think it's fundamentally changed. I think that the most damning thing that Mike said was that Alabama fans were kind of ready to move on. And he had this line about, like, look, it's not that Jalen doesn't want to get better. Like, he was like first person in the building, last person out at Alabama, like a very hard worker. But you just naturally have some traits or you don't. And his fear was there are some traits that Jalen just doesn't naturally have that might make for a great NFL level passer, but that because he does have so many physical tools, maybe he can figure it out, like buy himself time to figure it out. So I feel like that's a take that most people kind of had on Jalen, like that there were big questions about him as a passer at Alabama, but that he was such an explosive athlete that you thought, well, maybe he can evolve, or at worst case, you have a Taysom Hill package. Like, it wasn't necessarily a unique opinion. It was just the same opinion echoed by someone who covered the entirety of his career very closely. So it was interesting.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. I think he's going to be the conversation topic of the season, certainly of the offseason.
With being a quarterback.
Well, with being a quarterback. We don't get those around here a lot. So it's a novelty.
You should ask him if he'll grow a mustache.
If we talk to him, yeah, that's, did you read? So there's a good piece from John Boyle on Seahawks.com kind of
also
outlining.
A great mustache.
Yeah, everyone's got mustaches. You're making me reassess all my life choices here. Maybe I need to be a mustache guy.
Or
but
quarterback.
he said, the draft call, they had some trouble getting a hold of them, so that's why that wasn't
Oh my
out
God,
there.
you guys, I've wondered where. No, I need to find the draft call. This is like the missing
No,
tape.
there's not out there. It's not.
What do you mean it's not out
So
there?
John
I
wrote it
know,
on
I need to know why it's not
There's
out there.
no, this is not a conspiracy theory.
Let me get my tin hat. Where's this draft call? What happened on the draft
You have John
call?
Boyle on
what
all the
was said on
time.
the draft call?
Call him up and see
I'm
if
gonna
there's
ask John.
something
I'm gonna say,
behind
John,
this.
tell the truth, John.
There's
tell
no
the truth,
ulterior
John.
motive.
Where's the draft call with Jalen? I have been combing the Seahawks YouTube page looking for it.
I know everyone has, because that's the one missing one, and people are
Yes.
commenting, "Where's the draft call?
Yes.
Unleash the draft call."
I want to know where it is. I want to know where
does
the
not
draft call
exist.
was, and I want to know what Shador's interviews were like. Those are the two things I want to know.
Stacy, well, we'll let you go prep here. Your show's coming up in a little bit, but yes, we'll go research that. Please, if in the 18 minutes before you come on the air, if you find out where the draft call went, please let us know.
Yeah.
Just sprint back in here, actually, if you figure it out before we sign off. the air.
No, absolutely. I will be revealing that on my show.
True. You are the show of breaking news. So the draft call true story will break on Bump and Stacy today.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a tease.
Yeah.
I'm putting that pressure on you guys
Ooh,
to find
I
the
cannot
answer.
wait for people to be disappointed in 15 minutes.
Stacy, well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. So there's Stacy Rost. Yes, her, Bump, and Curtis will be coming up. Just a little bit here, but still a little more to get to here. Stacy, we're not going to break. Sorry, we go all the way, so you can stay here if you
Okay,
want.
I was like, wow, you are way over the clock. I would be so in trouble for this. Okay, I'm gonna go.
I realized you were sitting here patiently, and
Yeah,
I was like,
I
oh
was.
no, I'm not going to break. I'm going to just swivel away from you, so you
as
can
a
go
host,
now.
you're constantly
Yeah.
like, it's
Yep.
43 left. Go. Okay, I'm leaving.
Okay, Stacy's going to leave, prep for her own show, because that is coming up at the top of the hour. But, we have a lot still to get to, including the mustache debate continuing on the text line here. Someone did echo that of, I would be a great Farva. 253. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I have a Halloween costume built in now. For some reason, one reason or another, I just have never done Super Troopers, which I love that movie. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. So Dave Wyman.
It was one of the assignments that we gave Lyle. He only recently
Really?
saw.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we have two extremes here. We have the older generation watching it for the first time. Wyman watched it for the first time a couple months ago. I'll share his perspective, but Lyle, I need to hear. I know you told this show already. I need to hear what you thought about Super Troopers.
It was funny. I liked it.
Okay, good. I was going to have to quit. I literally was going to walk off this show if Lyle didn't like it.
No, it was a good movie. That stuff's kind of up my alley, those kind of movies.
Okay. So Dave Wyman, who his sense of humor is like ours, it's pretty juvenile. He likes all the same funny movies that like John Schneider likes with Step Brothers. Wyman did not like Super Troopers.
Yeah, that's weird to me.
It's really weird. And Matt Nelson and I just sit here and we just can't believe it every single day. And Bob can't believe it either because it seems like the perfect fit for Dave Wyman. But someone said I should be Farva, and I agree. It would be a good look. I'd have to add some poundage, maybe.
A liter of cola.
A liter cola, exactly. Farva, a classic character there. So, all right, mustaches. They're coming back. A ton of comments about this. Someone wants Stacy to bring teal mustaches back. Huh. Okay. Then someone said I'd make a great Farva. Here's a good one, 360. Nothing like pondering while twirling your mustache. I agree. Wow. Okay.
Guys that stroke their facial hair too much, though, it's a little creepy.
So I've never had the opportunity to do that, so I wouldn't know of
Just
intriguing.
putting that out there.
Yeah.
That's when you look over and they're just constantly.
Okay. Well, that good insight, good perspective from Maura and Stacy, because there's some things I wouldn't even have considered. And then Lyle, we haven't even looked. We're not the mustache guys. You can look at us. You can see Lyle and I don't have mustaches, so we would have no insight about that topic. But a lot of mustache talk today from Brady and G to Stacy and Maura. So thank you for all that, guys. Before we wrap this up, let's get back to this Mariners-Rangers series. It's a fascinating one because the Mariners come in. And I wish there was a better way to transition from mustache to Mariners. Bryce Miller, sure, there's the tie-in. Hey, Bryce Miller pitched this week. He's a Mariner mustache. There you go. All right. So 7 straight series wins. Mariners, Rangers. There's so much at stake here for the Mariners because we have seen over the past few seasons that one game or those 2 games that come back and hurt this team down the stretch. That's been the talking point, I'm sure, on this show. And it has been on Wyman and Bob every year when the season ends, 2024, 2023, 2021. What if they had won this game? What if they had won that game? And so, yeah, they've won 7 straight. They swept the Rangers, but you come down the stretch, and once again, if it's a close division race, where in 2023, every single team there was in the mix, the Rangers, the Astros, the Mariners took a division lead into the final weekend of August, and then it kind of imploded in September. So these are massively important games. And for me, I don't know about you guys, I'm just curious to see how this lineup continues to hold up because the injuries are starting to get significant. It's been impressive. Leo Rivas has had some key at-bats there. J.P. Crawford at the bottom of the order was so clutch that they said, hey, look, we're running out of bodies. We need to keep moving you up in the lineup. He hit 6, then he hit leadoff on Wednesday. It worked out well. More than the pitching, I think that's my biggest concern right now, the lineup and how they withstand all these injuries. I don't know. Maura, Lyle, pitching concern, lineup concern.
Where do you guys feel like we're at with depth? Because they've already had to dig in a lot. How do we feel about like Tyler Locklear or some other names having to possibly step in?
I think we'll see Locklear at some point. I can't promise when. The more difficult thing is filling the 2 positions that they currently need to fill, which is kind of lost in all of this. Of all the injuries they've had, it's not really spread out throughout the field. It's really at 2 positions. It's second base and it's right field. So there's only so much depth you can continue to find at those spots. And when you don't have Dylan Moore, who plays in a variety of places, now it won't be for that long, but yeah, like this is why Ryland Thomas is here right now, right? Like they've used a lot of guys, but ultimately when guys keep getting injured and you have less options, there's not that many other guys in the system right now that can play right field unless you get somebody outside the organization.
Yeah, I mean, Samad Taylor, he had a bunt base hit. That was his contribution.
Much to Lyle's dismay.
It started off this whole cascade of massive runs, but yeah, I mean, right, Lyle, not the bunt guy. You're not a fan of the bunting, right? Ever. No. Not even a sacrifice. No. A well-timed sacrifice bunt that leads to a base hit, that leads the Angels' implosion.
No, sacrifice bunts are like at the top of the list of things I never want to see, ever.
Well, and that's the point, too. Okay, so Samad Taylor, yeah, it was just one game, but he didn't really make an offensive impact. And right field, you're right, it's a little bit shaky. But it's funny to talk about all this when you look at the pitching, and we are still talking about a rotation without Logan Gilbert and without George Kirby. But for now, it just hasn't come back to get them yet. Emerson Hancock has been solid. Logan Evans has had a very small sample size. He's had 1 start. That was good enough. So I guess I kind of put that in conjunction of, hey, if this offense continues to produce, it's okay that the rotation isn't as dominant as the best in baseball that we've come to expect, and vice versa. If the rotation is good on games that can spell the lineup, it's all been working out. I think we are so prone to waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? That is Mariners fandom and Mariners following of the entire existence of this franchise. You're just kind of waiting to see what could happen. And so there's that fear that's looming because the rotation, they haven't been overwhelmingly dominant. But if you're going to look at it on the positive side, which you guys know me, maybe the listeners do as well, I kind of skew toward the pessimistic realism, I like to say, because then if something goes wrong, you're expecting it. And if something goes right, then you're surprised pleasantly. So the fact that they haven't had any dominant starts from the rotation and they're still doing this, I'm actually going to skew optimistic and say that's a great sign. But then, guys, I'm going to talk right back myself into the pessimistic side. They really have had a lot of issues keeping these pitchers healthy. It seems like it's an odd year problem where 2023, and there's nothing really to that, sure. It's not a year-to-year thing, but just a fickle nature of keeping pitchers healthy. I know Jeff Passan talked about it with these guys a couple days ago. You have Kirby hurt, you have Gilbert hurt, and then Bryce Miller. I'm a little concerned about Bryce Miller because he mentioned after his start, his back locked up. Or before his start, his back had locked up. He couldn't sit down between innings on Tuesday night. So I just don't know if we can count on this rotation staying healthy when you have Gilbert hurt, Kirby hurt, working his way back, and then Bryce Miller, where he hasn't really turned in a dominant outing yet this season.
No, and he's battling stuff right now, too. I mean, he talked about a few starts ago he felt sore, and then he says back tightened up on him in the last start. And you hope there's nothing too serious there, and it really is just a few small things that he's trying to work through. But, yeah, if Bryce Miller were to unfortunately have to miss any time, too, then things get very, very interesting with the rotation.
Well, and then who is next? Because you had a couple pitchers, and now it's like, okay, you don't really have that next step before you get all the way down to these very young pitchers they brought into the system. So that's the uncertain part.
Like Michael Morales just got back yesterday, who won co-minor league pitcher of the year for the Mariners last year, and he's in Double-A. I'm not saying they'd yank him up today, but it's just another name as some time goes on. Yeah, if it was today and they needed another arm, it's probably somebody like Jonathan Diaz. I don't know if the Mariners really want that long term or not.
Yeah, we saw him come up in a relief role, I guess, early in the season when Emerson Hancock had to be sent down because they needed some bullpen options. So never have enough arms. I guess we're realizing that now. And we all were saying, hey, Mariners trade some pitching to get some bats. And we would have some writers on or some coaches say, no, you can never have enough pitching. And they are showing that right now. So we'll see. It's a lot to put on Brian Wu to kind of headline this rotation this weekend. I am curious about Wu because he has struggled in this ballpark. And some of that was the nature of it was his first season. He goes there, literally his first start against a lineup that would go on to win the World Series that is certainly not hitting like they were back then or even, in 2024 at times. But it's just, sometimes ballparks, they don't bode well for you. And they had to go through the tough hitter stretch of Cincinnati and Boston and now this Arlington Stadium where Texas has done well against Brian Wu. And he's your most, you would hope, stable option going this weekend. So I'm curious to see what you get out of Brian Wu. What are you guys' expectations for him? Solid in Brian Wu? Are you optimistic in Wu this year?
I'm always optimistic in Brian Wu.
Yeah.
I love watching him pitch. Also, it's funny, for all those struggles that rotation had on the road last year, he was the one guy who didn't seem to have issues on the road. Like, his numbers were still strong on the road, and it didn't seem to affect him, which is pretty good. Like, it's pretty cool. I know he got blown up in Texas in his first outing, but generally, pitching away from T-Mobile Park doesn't really seem to faze him.
Maura, you a Wu fan?
Of course.
Yeah.
He's super fun to watch.
Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
I was about to ask if you're a Wu girl.
Oh, God.
Hopefully people get that reference, but yeah, funny episode there. So we'll see. Big series. It starts off tonight at 5:05, 4 o'clock. Pregame coverage begins with Shannon Drayer, and then Seahawks rookie minicamp going on as well. So a lot going on. Thanks, everyone who was in here. Fun Friday, the usual Friday crew of G and Shannon and Stacy, and then we had Brady Henderson, who I appreciate hopping on for a couple hours as well. Salk and Brock will be back on Monday. Yes, maybe, yeah. Unless Salk gets hired as the head coach of the Kraken. We're throwing it out there as a theory. You heard it here first and nowhere else. And Mike Salk is interviewing for the Kraken head coaching job. So if he doesn't get it, he will be back on Monday. So I assume he'll be back on Monday. But yeah, thanks to everyone who listened as well. Good day of radio coming up the rest of the way before the Mariners start at 4 o'clock. Bump and Stacy coming up next.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh!
I love this guy.
What's your name?
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly at swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Shane Company engagement rings are expertly crafted to fit both your style and your lifestyle.
My wife's an artist and works with her hands. Shane Company helped me create a ring that's beautiful and sleek. She loves it.
Shane Company rings are crafted with care using high-quality materials, and we set each center stone by hand in our jeweler's workshop right here in our store. We also protect your ring, including the center stone, with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Let us help you find your perfect ring, in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World.